rate? Who cares? Joe, there's a 2-mile wait to get past the damn green line.
Anyone who gets scared by a bear in the neighborhood, call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at
Joe Murray with you. Full show tonight. Yes. No interruptions, no Celtics, no Bruins. Full show tonight. Of course, myself, Skaz, we got our intern Trent tonight, and you. At 617-779-0985. Calls all night long. We're also on YouTube. What's up, chat? I already see guys in there. KBJ, Tom, the infamous sneak attacks in there already. And Thomas, what's up, guys? So you can just go right to YouTube.com and just search 98.5 The Sports. We got it all tonight. It's Super Bowl week. We've had somewhat of a quiet week when it comes up to the Super Bowl. And now everybody's down in New Orleans. They're getting their Ruby Slipper breakfast and their Cochon dinners later on tonight. And then, hey, maybe tomorrow some real big names might start trickling in at Radio Row. That's where everybody else is. But we are here with you live for our Town Fair Tire Studios in Waltham, Mass. And yeah, it is Super Bowl week. I've actually come up with a decision and a pick. I've been waiting a little bit on it, so I'll at least tease some angles for you to look at, and I get some prop bets on the way as well. We have full shows this week just to set the expectation. We are here tonight till 10 o'clock. We have Celtics, Bruins, Celtics, and then Friday night, full show. So 2 full shows this week, and we'll have Joe Me the Money on Friday, so you want to stay tuned for that. But I had a chance to react yesterday to the Luka Doncic trade for Anthony Davis. Doncic goes to the Lakers. 31-year-old Davis goes to the Mavericks. And I had a lot of feelings off the bat on it. I almost didn't believe that it happened. It was in the middle of the night when I saw it, so it was somewhat late. But Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. In my head, that's stupid. It's dumb. For years, I worked on this radio station where people said for years, trade Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown for Anthony Davis. And if you woke up today and heard the news that they traded Jason Tatum for Anthony Davis, you all would lose your minds. You would lose your minds. My first reaction was I couldn't believe it. My second reaction, and I've been as consistent on this as anyone, I have said that teams have tapped out when it comes to the Celtics. And Boston once again, has made a team tap out after playing the Celtics. You can go back to all of them. Whether it's the Brooklyn Big Three when the Celtics eliminated Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden, they eliminated them, ended that one. The Harden 76ers ended them too. Right? All the Eastern Conference teams a year ago, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, didn't even want to play. Injured, but didn't play. Fact, that happened. And then the Miami Heat and the Jimmy Butler saga. Butler had their numbers for years. Now, he's tapping out. They're tapping out. And this weekend, the Dallas Mavericks have moved on from their best player. I'll fully admit, Luka Doncic was exposed defensively for his defense in the NBA Finals. And I personally just thought he needed support. The other thing is, to be consistent, we said the same things about a 25-year-old Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We used to use the narrative all the time that these guys don't win until they're like 26, 27 years old. So I'm just being consistent on that one. He was exposed. So what do they do this offseason? They add Klay Thompson, one of the most prolific three-point shooters in history and pretty decent defender. I know he's somewhat now on the back nine. They still have Kyrie Irving there. A lot of their young players like Lively and et cetera got better. They got better. That's what happened. They bolstered their team. They went for another run, but they pulled the plug. They moved on from a 25-year-old top 5 player in the league who was up for the Supermax. This guy was a 5-time All-NBA player. We get excited, and Celtics fans talk about it when Jason Tatum becomes All-NBA. This guy did it 5 times. He's 25 years old, just went to an NBA Finals. The Mavericks traded the player, once again, who's a 5-time NBA, All-NBA, 25 years old. It cost him $116 million. And to me, this has nothing to do with basketball. You can talk about his weight. You can talk about his conditioning. You can talk about his defense. I don't care. I don't care if he smoked a pack of cigarettes during every game. I don't care if he ate a sandwich on the sideline. You were relevant because of Luka Doncic. You were relevant when you passed the torch from Dirk Nowitzki. You stayed relevant. When you really think about the Dallas Mavericks, they moved on from Kristaps Porzingis. They traded Jalen Brunson, who became an MVP candidate, but he still wanted to stay there. And then, when they got worse, he brought them to the NBA Finals. Conditioning, his weight, defense, I don't buy it. For a 31-year-old Anthony Davis who's 50 in dog years? And don't get me wrong, I'm not letting Anthony Davis off the hook on this one. Great player. Had a 5-year run with the Lakers and won a championship. That's good. I'm going to put respect on his name. He's a damn good player who faced injuries his entire career. In the last couple of years, he's been healthy. And this year, he was the Lakers' best player. But to go from Luka Doncic, 25, to Anthony Davis, 31, bad basketball decision. And the general manager didn't even do any sort of research on teams that could be available? You didn't even put the guy on the market? Who are you? Who are you not offering him to the league, having a bidding war? They could have got 2 first-round picks from the Lakers, but they just took the one. They just settled for the one. I'll say it again. Anthony Davis' run with the Lakers was a success. You win a championship, I don't care if it's in the bubble. He was a big part of it, and he's a big part of why the Lakers are even really where they are, because it's not LeBron James. The Lakers are back, everyone. They're back. Getting Luka Doncic, they'll now have a long-term answer. They'll save $116 million. I think he'll make it elsewhere being in LA. I think he'll be just fine. But the Dallas Mavericks, you go back to the island of irrelevancy. Claiming that you're going to win by defense in this NBA when everyone's shooting 53s a game? Good luck. And to find out Luka Doncic just bought a house in Dallas, they trot him out there on National Texas Day, and they trade him that day? Oh, and how did they show up in the first game after the trade? Yeah, I guess they're really taking it well. And the fans, let me tell you, they paid $3,000 to get a casket delivered to bring to the stadium so they can mourn the loss of Luka Doncic. So tell me how that one's working out. Here's the reality of it. They're using Luka Doncic conditioning, weight, age, Supermax, all those things as a reason not to pay him long term. Now, there may be some people who look at it and say, oh, he's not in the greatest physical shape. Who wants to pay Supermax for a guy like that? I'm sure there's some business people like that. Just look at your favorite teams locally here when the best player moves on. When Tom Brady left the Patriots, how they doing? When Mookie Betts got traded to the Dodgers, how are the Red Sox doing? And I'll just throw this one out there just because it fits my argument. You moved on from Linus Allmark, who was a Vezina winner. And how do the Bruins' defense and goaltending look? When you move on from your star players, and Allmark's not one of those, I'm just fitting my argument, you get worse. This isn't an upgrade. This is a way to save a buck That's what it is. And realistically, a lot of these NBA players have had control. LeBron James had control. He could go to Miami if he wanted. He could go back to the Cavs. And if he wanted to go to the Lakers, he can. And if he wants to opt in next year at $52 million, he can. But the rest of these guys, I'm sure a lot of people will say that Dallas Mavericks screwed Luka Doncic. In a way, Luka Doncic, with his conditioning, gave the team a chance for Luka to screw Luka on the Supermax. That happened. Now, what does this mean for other teams around the NBA? When the Supermax comes up, are they going to look at these people long term? Is the deal worth the length of the deal? Is the player going to be good the length of the deal? Forget about the rest of the league. How does all this translate now to the Boston Celtics, who have a new ownership group coming in? You buy the team right now, it's $6 billion. Add the $500 million with the tax, 6.5. Where's your revenue coming in from? The trade deadline's just a few days away. I don't expect the Celtics to do anything. But in a year from now, when new ownership comes through, because I'll tell you, Mark Cuban said he'd rather get a divorce from his wife than trade Luka Doncic. He didn't even want to comment on it when other people talked about it. He wouldn't have let him go. The rest of the league was shocked. Kevin Durant, during the game, was shocked in talking about it on his own team's sideline. This was a move for ownership to try to get control, and that's exactly what this is. A lot of these players can choose where they want. Next year, you know what's going to happen? You know who the big winner in all this is? And it's sickening? Kyrie Irving. Because he's going to stick around in Dallas. And he's going to get an extension at whatever, mid-30s and whatever he is. But he'll still continue to get his money. Jimmy Butler, if he gets traded, will have a chance at $52 million next year. The numbers are getting too high. The players had control for years. Now, the owners are starting to take control. It happens in the NFL constantly. It hit the NBA this week. The Mavericks' star player now goes to the LA Lakers, and I'm sure they're not done yet, the Lakers. And when Luka Doncic is healthy, they become now a threat in the Western Conference. And when we talk about new ownership coming through and changes ahead here for the Boston Celtics, could the Celtics make a move with one of their stars because of salary cap and control? We'll lead it off there at 617-779-0985. And, well, the opening take was brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Again, opening take brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I'm Joe Murray. We got a full show tonight. We're here all night. Your reaction to the Luka Doncic trade and how it could affect the Boston Celtics. And I just want to mention something. Something that happened with Luka happened here as well, and I just want to remind you all of that. So we'll do all that coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Morning on the Sports Hub.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect that Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, you better bleeping challenge it, as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable, and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win. He's got to get over this. And the fact that he came out after the game and blamed the officials showed me he's nowhere close yet. So maybe over the summer, somebody will get to him, because nobody with the Mavericks or anybody else in his life has. And that's where the Mavericks are at this point. They're never going to get to this tunnel with the trophy if he doesn't improve those aspects of his game.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. Everybody remember that? We're back here on 98.5, the Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. We're here all night long tonight. Full show. We're back. Feels good to not have any games, to be honest with you. I'm actually kind of interested in tomorrow night's Celtics game, but we'll hit on that one later tonight. Phone line 617-779-0985. We got a full house here tonight. We got Trent. He's here. He's our intern, helping us out. Made some graphics for us before the show, so shout out to him. And Skaz is here, who is part of the Green Teamers podcast. And, man, I had to check in last night. I had to check in and see what the stew was cooking and what the Skaz was mashing.
I saw you in the chat, Joe, checking in last night. Yeah, I think it's one of the dumbest trades in the history of sports. If you're a Mavericks fan, I genuinely feel bad for you trading a generational type player because he's you can't rely on him, is basically because he's a fat slob, is what the Mavericks are trying to sell us. For Anthony Davis, makes no sense. Everything Nico Harrison has said, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. And just some backstory on Nico Harrison, the Mavericks GM.
Real quick, don't set this one up, because even I know this story, and let's face it, Skaz. Mark Cuban ran the team, and everybody thought it was stupid. And then he sold the team, and now they have a general manager. Where did they find that general manager, Skaz?
Yeah, so one Nico Harrison, who is becoming known for screwing up some of the biggest moments of his life, was the man in charge of Nike's pitch in 2013 to one Steph Curry. Steph Curry.
Okay.
In that pitch, Joe, as you're alluding to, he referred to Steph Curry as Seth.
Seth Curry. That's right. Curry. And he was not happy.
It was also the same exact presentation they gave Kevin Durant. They didn't change anything.
Yeah.
Same exact presentation. They also didn't offer Steph Curry a signature shoe. Mm-hmm. So Nico Harrison, known around NBA circles for being the guy that screwed up the Steph to Nike deal. That is how Steph ended up with Under Armour. And now Nico Harrison, more famous for basically ruining the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. Well, that's all we'll know him for, is the guy who screwed up Steph Curry's presentation and the guy that traded Luka Doncic.
Yes, there is no good way to look at this from a Mavericks perspective, in my opinion. One, I see a lot of their, Kyrie wanted to play with Anthony Davis, so the Mavericks are placating their franchise to Kyrie Irving's wants and needs. I can't say that's something.
He's the most, besides Luka going to L.A., the guy who benefits the most on this is Kyrie.
No, the biggest winner of this trade is Michael Rubin, because he owns Fanatics, and those Luka Laker jerseys are going to be at every frat house in America.
Shout out to Michael Rubin, who's at Radio Row this week, from what I hear.
This summer. But yeah, the whole thing is, I think it's, I don't want to call it an affront to basketball. I think that's going too far, but it's embarrassing for the Mavericks. If you're a Mavericks fan, how can you root for this team right now? Your team is placating to Kyrie Irving over a 25-year-old all-world generational type player. Yes. Is Luka slightly overweight? Sure. Does he not really try on defense? Yes. He's also 25 years old and one of the top 10 offensive players probably in the history of the league. The Celtics, there's headlines out there. The Celtics wouldn't trade a 20-year-old Jason Tatum for a 26, 27-year-old Anthony Davis. I'm sure some people may feel that they should have done that at the time, but now you're trading a 25-year-old Luka for a 31-year-old AD with more miles on him, more playoff miles, to team him up with Kyrie. You think that's a recipe for success? Two guys you can't rely on at all to be on the court at the same time. So, yeah, I think it's an abject failure by the Mavericks. I think it's good for Luka. Get him out to L.A. I think this is going to put a chip on his shoulder, maybe something he needed. But, yeah, I think it's a really, really bad look for the Mavericks.
Yeah, Luka's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine. But when we came back, we played that windy audio from last year. So for people don't know this, Skaz and I, and we had Cerrone as well, we worked the entire playoffs. Like, we covered the team. That we saw Luka that game get torched defensively. After the game, we were very critical about his play that day. I think we were more like, wow, everyone said that this guy could lead them and beat the Celtics. And I think that's kind of what our narrative was, wow, look who all these guys who picked Luka over the team and this and that. But was that the starting point? Like, that's why I wanted to play that, because was that the starting point? That happened. Listen, I could give you a highlight reel of where Luka Doncic didn't he hurt his team. But he also kept his team in the game. And I know it's you give and get a little bit here. I don't think he was the problem. And I feel like in the end, he's the scapegoat for them wanting to get out of the contract. And this is why I feel like he's the first of some of these guys that might not get it. And listen, we can go back to that draft later on tonight, Skaz, because there's other guys that were traded too, right, in that draft? Most of them, everyone except for Trae Young was traded in that draft. That's a big-time player. But I just look at it and say this real quick. All those things are true about Luka last year. But people were saying things about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown when they were 24 and 25 years old. They went to a finals. They lost. They got beat by Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. When they lost the Game 7, do you know what people were saying about Jaylen Brown? No left hand, turnover machine, shouldn't get the Supermax contract, right? I mean, listen, if you wanted to move on from Jaylen Brown, that was the time to do it. They didn't. Right? What did they end up doing? They didn't want to break them up. So they traded for Kristaps Porzingis and got Marcus Smart out of the locker room and Malcolm Brogdon out of the locker room at some point. Like, they had to move on from a few guys. They went out and somehow trade Robert Williams for Drew Holiday. They built around them. They supported them. Despite the money, guys. And what happened? They won a championship. And now what? Yes, the team has a lot of tax money and the new ownership. The best case scenario for the Celtics will always be that they have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum together. And I know they're going to have to lose pieces. And maybe it is one of them. I don't know. But right now, there's nobody I would trade these guys for. And just one more thing about Luka Doncic and his weight and all that stuff. Has anybody watched Nikola Jokic play basketball? Does Nikola Jokic look like a man that just got into the weight room or was on the treadmill or wasn't smashing, Bud Lights all night long too? Like, come on now. You got to call that guy a bill of health? Get out of here. That guy's the best player in the world, in the planet. So, again, I don't care if Jokic smokes cigars during the game or if Luka smokes a pack of cigarettes a quarter. I don't care. I want those guys on my team. The only difference is Tatum and Brown, they did everything right and couldn't get over the hump. They had to support him. In this case, you supported Luka Doncic with what? Kyrie Irving? An old-ass Klay Thompson? That's the support? Get out of here, GM of this. Can you believe the day of Texas Day? They traded him? Did you see the promo?
Oh, yeah. Tough week for those Cowboys Cowboys fans as well. You get Schottenheimer and then Luka's gone. You miss out on Soto this summer as well. But to bring it back to the Celtics, Joe, I think there's a couple ways you can look at it. Obviously, new ownership is the biggest one in these contracts and teams trying to get out in front of these contracts. But for me, taking a short-term look at it, it makes this season, this team, them winning a title this year, that much more important, that much more emphasis on it. Because if this is how owners are looking at it, and I'm obviously a player first guy. I think it's a bad look for the league when a franchise is trading a generational player so they don't have to pay him. I think that means your league is not in as good of a spot as you're advertising it. The NBA constantly tells us how healthy they are, how they're growing, how much money they're making, all this stuff. I think it's a net negative view on the league for them to. A franchise like the Mavs, who, they're not the Lakers or the Celtics, but they are a consistently, we like to think, well-run franchise that hangs around. For them to move on from a guy like Luka because they're afraid of the money, that has to give fear to Celtics fans and their next owner. So to me, if that's what's coming for the NBA, these, quote-unquote super teams being broken up, I think the emphasis on them winning a title this season should be even stronger. Obviously, you want them to win. They're the best team in the league. They should be gunning for a title anyways. But in terms of the window, when you're looking at the window from a fan perspective, that window might be a lot smaller than you previously thought it was if this is the way the NBA is trending.
I'd rather have Brown and Tatum together than, what, guys, if they have to trade Porzingis and Holiday and now Al Horford and they find his money somehow, some way, and it's Baylor Shireman and, Peyton Pritchard at point guard, as long as you have Tatum and Brown, I still think they're a good team. I still think they'll be competitive. And, new ownership's going to come in and they're going to look at it. It's going to be to your points, guys, this is it. This is it. Back-to-back championships. But imagine if you woke up and found out that, guys, do you probably know this. I've talked to you about this off the air, but do you know how many times in my life I've worked with somebody and they always said they should trade them for Anthony Davis? And it just, I would boil. Like, I would boil. No, I like to air fry. I don't like to boil. But the Anthony Davis trade discussion has been going on for like 13 years of my life, and I want it over with. And I feel bad for Mavericks fans today because if new ownership does this to the Celtics, gets out of a contract because of money, you're stupid too. You are stupid too. And I just want to bring this back up. The Dallas Mavericks have now gone to the island of irrelevancy. Back to the days when they used to draft Jamal Mashburn, remember? And Fat Lever, remember those guys? They sucked. The Mavericks used to suck. Ron Harper, Ron Harper. They were awful. They were nothing until they found Dirk Nowitzki. Nothing. And then you draft Luka Doncic 3rd overall. Do you know who the 1st and 2nd picks were in that draft, by the way? DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley. I think they did pretty well with Luka Doncic. And you traded them for what? A good player, and that's it. Welcome to the island of irrelevancy. Your thoughts, 617-779-0985. I'll start taking some calls. I didn't get my screener up. We'll get to you guys here on the other side. And some Super Bowl thoughts from this week. We'll get into those, and we'll continue the conversation. Celtics, Mavs, they play this week, by the way. I'm sure they're going to be real fired up to play the Celtics. That'll be a good one. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
right, back here 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray.
Watch out.
Get into the Super Bowl in a minute here. Back-to-back tweets. So I feel like we have to start a new segment. You've heard the segment when the hosts aren't listening. I think we really, really, really need to start when the listeners aren't listening. I have two tweets that I have. Your basketball takes are moronic. The Lakers aren't where they are because of LeBron. Have you watched them lately? And your tap-out thing is just as dumb, too. Well, I mean, I gave you a take. If you think it's dumb, that is completely fine. It's just fact. Did the Mavericks trade Luka Doncic after losing to the Celtics? Fact. Is Jimmy Butler out with the Heat? Can they compete with the Celtics? No. Fact. Facts, facts, facts. So you don't like my take. I'm just working at facts. Here's another one. Listening to you diminish Anthony Davis the way you are right now truly confirms you don't understand the NBA and what you're watching. What did I say about Anthony Davis, guess?
I think you said he was very good, Joe, an elite player.
I said that he had his 5-year run with the Lakers was a success. That's what I said.
Won a title.
He is the reason why.
Absolutely.
He's been better than LeBron James. Me diminishing Anthony Davis is because of somebody else's take that I hated.
All those things can be true. He's still not worth Luka Doncic. He's not even close. He's older.
Anthony Davis is 31. He's averaging this year, though. I mean, he's having a monster.
He's having a great year.
20. He's basically 26-12. But when does he break down? And here's the other thing: when they start to suck, right? You think he's going to be grinding out there every night? When you play for the Lakers, I really mean this. When you play for the Lakers, it's a different beast, right? Like Anthony Davis is out there because he's a good player. They face a lot of adversity there. Like, there's high expectations. When you play with LeBron James, you're in the spotlight constantly. So, him being out there, et cetera, like, I feel like he faces a lot of pressure, too, and he's been awesome. But now he has to replace Luka Doncic. Like, how's that fair to him? And you mean to tell me when they suck, he's not going to tap out, too? Tappa. What happens in that league?
Joe, I'm sure that guy that is vehemently defending Anthony Davis, probably not a big fan of Rudy Gobert, as you know, the Rudy Gobert thing is kind of worn thin. NBA fans turning.
That's the guy that Luka talks smack to, right?
On Rudy Gobert, yes.
Yeah.
Joe.
Okay. Just want to make
just for some facts, some stats.
Ooh, facts.
If you erased Rudy Gobert from existence, Joe, if you just forgot Rudy Gobert exists,
forgot
he exists.
So the Frenchman who got dunked on and is kind of a jerk.
Doesn't exist anymore. If you gave the Defensive Player of the Year award to the guy that came in second place, the 4 times that happened, Rudy Gobert won Defensive Player of the Year, 4 times. If you gave that award to the guy that came in second place in voting that year, Anthony Davis would still have 0 Defensive Player of the Year awards. So, just a fact, Joe.
Because they said they wanted to build it around defense.
So you got to get Anthony Davis. When I think defense, I think Kyrie Irving first all and Klay Thompson. And then third, I think Anthony Davis. Yeah, the Mavs, what they're doing makes a ton of sense, Joe. Ton of sense.
Island of irrelevancy. Right? Who's like going to... Let's talk irrelevant teams. New Orleans, Pelicans.
The 2010s Atlanta Hawks.
No, how about just this current NBA? Like, when you think about this current NBA, right? Like, the
Raptors.
The Brooklyn Nets are irrelevant, right? Like, right now, Utah's irrelevant. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about you. The Portland Trailblazers are irrelevant. Now, they got Scoot Henderson, and maybe he can be the guy.
Rob Williams.
Yeah. But, yeah, New Orleans definitely. Now, the Spurs, on the other hand, you see what they did yesterday? They have this guy named Wemby, right? Generational talent, number 1 overall pick. Actually, the league has gone against him. His free throw attempts, he was bitching about. Well, actually, he got asked about it. I shouldn't say he was complaining. But, dude, his free throw attempts are down big time this year. He's not getting the calls. He's not getting them. So what do? They draft the kid Castle from UConn, right? He's been good. And now they acquire, I don't know, the fastest and most young and up-and-coming point guard in the league in De'Aaron Fox. So that's what you do, right? And you know what? I think Chris Paul is definitely like on the 17th green right now. But him, along with that team, he's going to help develop them. He's going to give them a rub, right? He's going to bring his leadership to them. And I bet they get an asset for Chris Paul, too, when they move on from him. But that's how you build. Draft picks, young talent, second contracts, etc. And I just constantly look around the league. Like Golden State is trying right now. They tried to trade for Jimmy Butler. Butler won't extend his $52 million option, so they won't make the trade. The Warriors are trying to get Kevin Durant back. Durant saying no. Getting back to the owners and the control. These are all the guys with those big option years. Some of them may even have that extension eligibility, all that stuff. Kyrie's one of them. Once these guys are pushed out of the league, all that's next is basically avoiding paying someone the super max because they really weren't with the team that they started with or they weren't a two-time All-NBA. Knows another guy who got traded, Skaz, that's pretty good? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, remember him? Drafted by the Clippers.
Traded for Paul George.
How'd that work out?
I'd say not great.
Who do the Clippers have now?
Norm Powell has been pretty good this year.
Irrelevant. Do you get it? When you move on from your star player, you suck. That's a good take, right? Is that a fair take, Skaz? You move on from your star player, you suck.
I would say it hurt the Red Sox when they traded Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
I would say that hurt them.
How about Tom Brady?
Not great. Not great, Joe.
Should we keep going? I mean, how are the Angels? I know they were never good with Shohei, but how are they still now? Not good, right? Not good. You trade your best player, you suck. Oh, I feel bad for those fans. You know what today is, though? It's a big day out there, everybody. We'll tell you what it is. Hey, the Bruins played over the weekend. Justin's on the line. And Lynn, Justin.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
I have a thought about the Bruins that bothered me from the weekend. And the fact that they gave up a 4-1 lead. I know they won the game, but I'm still having a problem with the way they're playing defense lately in games. And it's really bothering me, Joe.
Do you think they're going to change anything, Justin?
No, I mean, they should. I think they should fire the GM. I think they should fire the GM, but I don't think they're going to change anything, Joe. No.
All right, Justin. Well, listen. We got all the games. Well, here's my opinion. I think that they should take the best course of action of thinking about the future.
Yes, I agree with you, Joe.
Start thinking ahead.
Yes, I agree.
You're the man, Justin. Thanks, sir. And that's our Celtics minute. That's our Bruins minute, excuse me, for today. Some guy says, hey, I bet Joe snores really loud. I do. You know where I don't snore? It's when I sit. I have a chair, Skaz. I have a nice. You've seen my chair.
Is it a recliner?
No. It's not. No, it's a big boy. It's one of those deep big boys. And I just put my head back, right? Less snoring. But yeah, I'm a snorer, bro. And a dipper. And a sniffer. I'm a midnight toker. Don't want to hurt no one. Hey, it's a big day for some people. We'll tell you what that day is coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub, I'm Joe Murray. Feels good to have a full show, I got to tell you. When's the last full show we've had? I don't think we had one last week. Except I worked with Felger and Maz on Friday. And there was a take that I think we should replay later. How about that? Because I won. I'm right. Yeah. You know how I know I'm right? Is because whenever someone is wrong, they either they call me fat or a bitch. Right? Or a name. So that's how I know I've won, Skess. That's how you know you're right. So I can live with that. If I can have a nice sports debate conversation where it's just two sides having a nice conversation, but if it comes to that you have to call me, insult my size or my humanity, then you lost.
Yeah, so a very defensive Tony Maserati on Friday afternoon.
I didn't even say names.
Some unkind words for Joe Murray, which I would say came from a spot of desperation, reaching maybe.
Yeah, happens a lot. Oh, especially on social media. You know?
Well, Joe, you just got to make sure you're counting your years correctly. You don't want to miss any, rookie seasons or fall seasons.
Yeah,
it can get confusing.
It really can get confusing, man. Hey, you know what today is, everybody? Truck day. You ever drive in the car and you see a big truck and you just go like this and it's like, honk, honk. I always love that. It's one of my favorite things to do. Truck day is officially upon us. 20,400 baseballs, 1,100 bats, 200 batting helmets, batting practice shirts, white game jerseys, 300 pairs of pants, 400 T-shirts, 400 pairs of socks, 20 cases of gum, 60 cases of sunflower seeds. I feel like I'm ordering at the drive-thru and I think you should leave. That's how I feel. Anyways.
How can I take your order?
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 Coke, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 155 taters.
Okay, that'll be $680.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, is the team going to make any upgrades? Sam Kennedy spoke today. No one's going to hear about it because of the Super Bowl and all the other stuff going on, but are you pursuing Alex Bregman? I'm not allowed to talk about any specific free agent negotiations or anything, but given that he's unsigned, I think that speaks for itself. Why do I not like you, Sam Kennedy? You know what I would wish, Sam Kennedy? Like, maybe we could go out for like a steak dinner or ice cream. I don't know. There's just something about you that I just don't like. And maybe I don't know. It's not your face. I don't know what it is. It's not his face. Maybe it's his voice. I want you to think about this. What's the last actual signing the Red Sox have made that's been longer than 1 year for a hitter? Like, I don't think they've gone long-term with a free agent past a year. And I'm spitballing here.
I mean, Trevor Story, Joe.
Are you serious?
They acquired Trevor Story. He's been here for how long?
I mean, that was a long time ago, right? Was that 3-4 years ago? When was that trade? That trade sucked too, right?
I believe it was free agency.
Oh, free agency.
Yes.
Whatever. It still sucked.
Hey, he's getting $20 million a year, Joe.
Worst contract in Boston we discussed, right?
Definitely one of them.
Like Pipes O'Neal got 1 year, right?
Yoshida, they had to sign him to a couple years.
How about a right-handed bat? Now I'm getting real particular. So it's Story. Wait, was Story and Yoshida back-to-back years? Yeah, I don't think they were the same year. Maybe somebody in chat will tell me. And by the way, I just want people to know this. I think the laziest take on radio is just bitching about ownership not spending money. I think it's so lazy. Like, I'm actually interested in some of the young kids, and I'm curious if that they'll take away some of their years of eligibility to let them play right away. Because maybe you can save some money that way too. But they're so scared of doing that. Someone just said Manny. Nope, it's not Manny. Trevor Story's probably the guy. Bogart's gone. Mookie Betts gone.
Just received a text from someone that would know Joe, someone very close to the show and the station. 93% of free agents since Chaim Bloom became the GM have been one-year contracts.
Somebody who's listening.
Somebody who's listening, Joe.
Who even knows the percentage of the stat, huh?
Someone who might stand just where I'm standing right now.
Somebody who this is bothering.
Yes, someone who is not a fan of Sam Kennedy. I will say that.
It's not, like, listen, the Mannings, I watched them this weekend. They have punchable faces, right? Both of them. The way they look, they're punchable. I'm sorry. I love Peyton Manning. Eli, I bow to you. You know? Like, those are punchable faces, right? Like, I get a bunch of people in wrestling I'd love to, like, just a bunch. But there's something about Sam Kennedy where I'm like, shut up! You speaking is a problem for me. People are just sending in names. I don't know. I actually can't think of the last right-handed hitter that they signed outside of Trevor Story to more than 1 year. So all this Bregman talk, it's stupid. It has nothing to do with ownership. It has to do with whoever the guy is in charge. You said Chaim Bloom, 93%? 93%? If I got a 93, that's great. In this case, it's not, right? Happy Truck Day, everybody. My horn kind of sucked. Is there a horn back there, Skaz? Do we have like a horn call? Because, there's always that one that goes, that's always a good one. Well, that's a train horn. There's a train horn there. Toot, toot. There's always one of those ones, too, Trent like that one. I can give you some. I want a good truck sound. Like, what does the truck sound like?
Joe, I think the Red Sox horn should be this one.
Yes. Clowns. Clowns. We gotta go. Yeah, we gotta go to the headlines. Someone said it sounds like yes. Yes, everybody. The truck. Yes. That's me pulling the yeah. Honk honk. Someone said Mike Napoli. He had more than 1 year, right? Yeah.
15 years ago. 12 years ago.
No, we can't. All right, Trent, this is your first admission. I need you to look up Red Sox right-handed hitters, who they've signed for more than 1 year since 2013. Now, let's do 2015. Let's just do 20. It's 10 years, right? I need you to look that up for me. The clown horn instead of the big horn. Honk, honk. All right, let's get to the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports.
He scored! What a blast by Boston! Waiting, holiday dream. Good night!
WBCFM and HD Boston. 95, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, well, what do we have going on in the sports world? Myles Garrett wants a trade from Cleveland. The Texans hired Nick Caley as their offensive coordinator, so I bet you C.J. Stroud's going to be awesome now. Todd Downing, he's coming in to be the Patriots wide receivers coach. You know who he is? We don't let him use the horn, though. Celtics playing Cleveland tomorrow. We'll get into them coming up in just a little bit here. And at the Bean Pot, 6-1. Let me hit refresh. 6-1 BU right now. 10 minutes to go in the third period. Later on tonight, Northeastern Boston College. Puck drops at 8 p.m. Headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Enjoy this Sunday's game while dropping with Awaken 180. Wings, meatballs, drinks, all on the menu. Results for real life, awaken180weightloss.com. And I read the wrong hour, but you know what? I'm Joe Murray, and we'll make it up.
Some people play the game.
Jaylen Brown. Blocked by Horford.
some talk about it.
Welcome to the Sports Hub Celtics show, by the way. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper.
The Sports Hub Celtics show with Murray and Gasper, Saturdays at noon on the Sports Hub.
Long cross court. Going to be Edwards in the final 4 seconds. His three blocked by Porzingis, and it is over in Philadelphia.
Wow.
The Boston Celtics looking as dead as you can look. Down 26 late in the third quarter. Comes storming back for a signature win in the middle of the title defense. From down 26 to an 8-point road win, they stun the Sixers by a final of 118 to 110.
Of during that moment. That was the final call of the Celtics game last night, everybody. They won, and they were down by 26 points.
I mean, that's what they've always called. They called them that last year as well. They got a lot of credit.
But is there swag?
I don't know if there's swag, Joe. Are you sensing an opportunity?
I am. Who's like the head of the Stay Ready group?
Hauser or Cornette, maybe?
I feel like Cornette would be like the guy, like the spokesperson about that. Pritchard, Stay Ready?
I think he's a little above the Stay Ready group.
Oh, okay.
He's always ready, Joe. You know?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. The Stay Ready group, I feel like that could be a nice little marketing. We're the Stay Ready crew. You never know what happens here at night.
Always ready,
We're
Joe.
always ready. Always.
Would you like to hear some of Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell during the comeback?
Yes, let's hear some of it.
Down the right side, Tatum dogging him all the way into the corner. Shot clock at 2. Fall away, blocked by Tatum. Into the hands of Drew Holiday. And the Celtics storming down the stretch like thoroughbreds. No look. Jaylen Brown to Luke Cornette. 2-hand slam. Timeout, Nick Nurse. Luke around and find out.
Woo! Hey, making no march. The band is playing. Da, 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 da.
What is that? Dun, 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 dun.
Da, 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 da.
We gotta go. We gotta come up with something like that. We could be like, "Stay ready, group. Stay ready, group. Stay ready, group. Stay ready, group." Dun, 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 dun. I'm trying to work on something, everybody, and I don't want to tease it. But the next time I see Max, I want to do a segment called Snacks with Max.
Would you like some more, Max?
Please, give me more. We got Doug Kyed coming up in about 5 minutes. So, yes, why don't we just have some fun?
Derek White down the left side. Kick to the wing. Waiting. Holiday 3. Good night.
Woo! Judo chop for everybody. Oh!
It took a while for them to arrive, but the champs are here.
Oh, the Celtics, the champs are in the house. Oh, go home, Sixers. Bye-bye now. Drive safely.
I wish I listened to this last night. By the way, I had two options last night. I had Doris Burke, who I respect and I think is fantastic. And then I had Scal and Drew. Oh, no, it was Eddie House, right? Was it
Eddie House? I thought Eddie was good this weekend.
Eddie House.
It's some very funny comments about his joy for road trips. I don't know if you heard that, Joe.
Oh, I heard it.
Big fan of road trips.
We wear the same sneakers, me and him, the Pandas. That's what we wear.
No one better than Cedric Maxwell. The first thing I do after a big Celtics win, if I don't have the pleasure of listening in my car, is I go out and I look for that sound.
I don't know if Trent goes to Dean, everybody. He's one of our new interns. I put a lot of tasks on him. I asked him to look up right-handed hitters. But I don't know, Skaz. I feel like that needs a montage. Like, I feel like we can't just let Max use that once. What's you know me, like every once in a while I'll mimic like a bam 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 bam.
You like a good jingle, Joe?
Yeah, well, like in my head, right? Like so like when you play football, right? You get this great play. When you're a lineman, you get a big block. Maybe you ran with the guy downfield and made a big block and he scored a touchdown. And the first thing that just pops in my head is or like, some sort of college music, just some college fight song. What was his? What was that? And you could throw the quack, quack, quack in there too because and go get a sandwich. I've never heard judo chops for everybody. And that's got to be a shirt. I'm on a marketing kick today. I don't know what it is. We need to make some dough. Where are we at? Anybody want to collab on this?
judo chops for everybody. Oh,
It took a while for them to arrive, but the champs are here.
Oh, the Celtics, the champs are in the house. Oh, go home, Sixers. Bye-bye now. Drive safely.
I'm glad to know he feels this way. You know why? Because last night, although some people are going to be upset the way they played and played down to the competition and do it all the time of late, they flipped the switch. I think that's why Max feels the way he did. I think Max has been wondering, Max knows what it's like to defend a title. But I think last night I think he called them the defending champs, right? In that clip right there for the judo chops, right? I think he was feeling that they're back.
The champs are in the house.
Champs are in the house?
Da, 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 da.
Like, what is that from? Is that like a Drake song? Like,
Sounds like trophies almost.
Yes, that's where I'm going with it. Trophies. Maybe we can mix that one down a little bit. So we got the Stay Ready crew. We got the champs are back. And judo chops for everybody. I mean, is that enough for you, Trent? I mean, we got some content, bro. Does anybody even want to hear the rest of the stuff I had to say about the Celtics, or just more Max? Here it is. Okay, let it go. Let it ride, baby. Yeah. Give me more Max. I love it. Oh, we got Doug Kyed. He's coming up from the Boston Herald. Give me more Max. We got Doug Kyed next here on 98.5 The Sports.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
The big game is this Sunday. But while the big game's happening, a lot of Patriot stuff. I watched Drake May over the weekend at the Pro Bowl, if you want to call it that. But he was there amongst some of the stars, and there's a lot of news happening regarding the coaching staff. And we'll welcome in Doug Kyed to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. He of the Boston Herald. Doug, how you doing tonight, my man?
Doing well, Joe. How are you doing?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out this. You guys wrote an article over at the Boston Herald, and you wanted to break down the best assets for the Patriots this offseason. And to tell you the truth, I don't feel good about the team after reading the article. So, maybe you can share to our listeners who didn't check it out over at the Herald. But, man, I didn't realize that the cupboard is pretty bare.
It really is. And, I mean, obviously some of their best assets are draft capital and cap space right now. Because, I mean, one of the reasons why they did struggle the way they did last year was the lack of talent on their roster. And obviously Gerard Mayo wasn't helping. Other coaches, assistants weren't helping. But, yeah, the roster was in pretty dire shape last year. And Elliott Wolf and Ryan Cowden and Mike Vrabel, all those guys, have their work cut out for themselves to put a decent product out on the field this season, because it really is slim pickings when you look at the roster right now.
Man, just to give you the May and Gonzalez are at the top, and then, well, there wasn't another player until you get to Barmore at 7. And then then there's more picks, and then it's, Henry, and then White, and then Wenu, and then Douglas. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, Mike Vrabel's here. It is now the Josh McDaniels offense. I'm over the arranged marriage story or not. I feel like they both want to work together. So I've moved past that. But what type of offense? We'll get to the defense, because I know you mentioned that they're going to go away from the Belichick defense. We'll get to that in a second. But who is a fit for this McDaniels offense? Years ago, we used to always see the big tackles, right? Whether it was Nate Solder or Vollmer. Do they go back to that? Do they look at maybe some guys who played for Doug Marrone, like a Cam Robinson? I mean, I just feel like there's a lot of connections for a lot of guys that could be free agents or that they've worked with before. Do you think that's where they start, and do they have a type of player for this offense?
Yeah, I think one good thing about bringing so many different coaches from so many different teams is that there are a lot of connections around the league. Whether you look at Josh McDaniels and the guys that he worked with on the Raiders, or Todd Downing and the guys that he's worked with, on the Jets and on the Titans, there is the Patriots will have a pretty good idea of what a lot of these guys are like who are out there in free agency. And they're even bringing some guys from college who can give some intel on some of the draft picks as well. But, I think ideally you'd like to have 2 6'8", 320-pound offensive tackles. But as Bill Belichick used to say, those guys don't exactly grow on trees. And, Josh McDaniels had those big, massive tackles in Nate Solder and Sebastian Vollmer, but he also had Isaiah Wynn starting at left tackle. He had, a guy like Michael Wenu starting at tackle. So they really look for different body shapes overall. But, in this Josh McDaniels offense, and obviously they're going to be bringing in some elements from other places as well, but I just look at slot receivers really thrived in the offense. Tight ends really thrived in the offense. So you've got Hunter Henry. Maybe you bring back Austin Hooper at tight end. You've got Demario Douglas in the slot, but maybe you try to upgrade that. I did just see that Cooper Kupp just released a statement that the Rams are going to try to trade him. Maybe you look at someone like that. I mean, it is odd, though, because obviously for years with Welker and Amendola and Edelman, the slot receivers really thrived in the Patriots offense. But then you assumed that when McDaniels went to the Raiders, Hunter Renfrow would do the same thing, and he didn't do anything in Las Vegas. So, it really does kind of depend on who the player is, who the personnel is. But I do think that Kupp would be interesting if they want to upgrade that slot position, because he can play outside as well.
Yeah, do $20 million next year, $7.5 million roster bonus, $12.5 base salary. So I just feel like for 1 year, if they don't want to go on a long-term extension, I think he has some money in 26. Either way, though, like they don't have to agree to a long-term deal, or they could always restructure it. But that at least gives Drake May a real dependable slot guy that can also play on the outside. And I think it makes sense. But if they're telling him now that they're going to trade him, do you think there might be something on the table or something happening, I guess, right now? Or is that just them doing him a solid to say that, hey, man, we're not going to move forward with you?
That is a good question. It's possible that they're putting this out there to try to get some increases in offers because I think Cup's only got like 1,000-yard season in his career. He's going to be 32 next year. Like, I can't imagine that the offers are very high for him, especially with him due, like you said, about $20 million next year. So maybe this is them being a little bit desperate to be like, hey, this guy's out here if anyone wants him. But like you said, like it's a way to get Drake May, a professional wide receiver who's done this before, but you have a pretty good idea of what he is, and it wouldn't necessarily take that much money to get him either. So, it's a lot of money, but you got to spend $130 million somehow, and I think there's worse ways to spend it than Cup.
All right, let's talk about some of the additions to the offense. The radio take is that, here it is, McDaniels is here, and he really hasn't been able to really bring in any of his own staff. One guy, right, that they brought in from John Carroll University, but the rest are all Vrabel guys. And today they bring in Todd Downing, who was with the Jets last year. I think he was the offensive coordinator at the end of the year, right, when they made all their moves. This guy has a history with Vrabel. I think he was fired at one point for, off-the-field thing. These are all Vrabel's guys. What do you think of Downing? And I don't know, with the move today of Nick Caley actually signing with the Texans, do you think now Ben McDaniel sticks around with Houston?
Yeah, Ben McDaniels could be interesting. It seems like there's not really necessarily a position coach role for him, but I kind of like the way that they're doing this of hiring McDaniels, but then bringing in a lot of guys that Vrabel's still comfortable with. That maybe you can add some different elements to this offense. Maybe you can do things a little bit differently. And it's not all necessarily like either Vrabel guys or McDaniels guys either, because Doug Marrone is he's like a Bill O'Brien guy more than anything. Thomas Brown, I don't think he's worked with either Vrabel or McDaniels through the years. So it just kind of bring in outside voices, guys who know what they're doing, guys who have been in different offenses. And, for Todd Downing, certainly wasn't great. He was the Raiders offensive coordinator in 2017, wasn't great that year. Titans offense in 2021 under Downing was pretty decent, took a huge step back in 2022, and then he got fired. He also, like you mentioned, had a DUI that season as well. But if you're bringing him in as your wide receivers coach, you could do a lot worse than that. That's a guy who at least knows what he's doing. Certainly better than the Patriots have had over the last few years at that position. So I like that they've got 4 former offensive coordinators on this staff, and like I said, guys who aren't necessarily coming from either the McDaniels tree or the Vrabel tree.
I saw this reported from Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald that the Patriots will be moving away from their 2-gap scheme to their 1-gap scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about this, and can this improve the pass rush? And it's just interesting. I looked up some of the numbers from Mike Vrabel's last season in Tennessee. Number 1 in red zone defense, but least amount of takeaways and really middle of the pack when it came to sacks.
Yeah, it should bring more pressure, which, quite honestly, the Patriots pass rush was so terrible last year that almost anything should fix it. And number 1, they need to add better talent at defensive end, defensive tackle, and linebacker. But overall, it's going to be a, like you said, 1-gap scheme, more of an attacking scheme, not focusing quite as much on 2-gapping and standing your ground in the middle of the defense. So guys are going to be moving upfield. Guys are going to be attacking. The most interesting thing to me is that the Patriots are now going to have to find the personnel to run this. And they really, wanted to find that edge defender who could be a pass rusher, do everything they need to do in Tennessee. And that was Harold Landry. So I look at a guy like Abdul Carter. If he's there at number 4, that would be perfect for the Patriots to add to be that pass rushing, weak side defensive end on this defense. And if they don't get him, or if they're not confident that they can get him, then they should probably I got
Giovanni. Sorry, Giovanni
Ricci.
But as a fullback back with Josh McDaniels.
I think it might be. I think they might be bringing the fullback back. So that's exciting stuff. Well, hopefully they're not done just with Giovanni Ricci. Maybe they try to draft someone or find someone as an undrafted free agent. But, yeah, it'll be fun to get a fullback back in there, a lead blocker.
I'm always down with a fullback. I got a few more for you here.
Yep.
No Matthew Slater, no more Troy Brown.
That's certainly the way it looks. Yeah, Matthew Slater out. Seems like Brown is going to be out as well. At least that's what seems like from some intel on the. I don't know how to put this. It's like I know how one of the guys who's out there on Twitter putting some of this information out kind of know the way he's able to get it. So I believe that Troy Brown is out. So yeah, 2 former players. The Matthew Slater thing is kind of a bummer to me because that's a guy that you just kind of want around in general.
Didn't Drake May say that, by the way? Didn't he say that he was a big help for him? Yeah.
Just a human being that you want on your side. But at the same time, and in my mind, I think it would make a ton of sense to still have Matthew Slater on staff, just because he is such a great guy, just because he is such an asset to anyone. But I don't know. I don't hate the idea of Vrabel just being like, you know what? We're going to clean house as much as we can from last year. No one is going to be comfortable with any of these coaches. Everyone's going to be new. We're going to completely turn things over again. And obviously, to some degree, you bring Josh McDaniels back. Some guys in the building have worked with him before, but just a full clean slate from what happened last year, it makes some sense to me.
All right, Doug, I'll ask you about the Super Bowl in a second here, but, the Royal Rumble was over the weekend.
Yeah.
Men and women. Charlotte's back and divorced, but she is back and will be going to WrestleMania. And then Mr. Yeet himself, main event, Jey Uso. Just real quick on this. I feel like the story's always been about Jey Uso. Roman wanted Jey to be the next guy, but Jimmy intervened, and then Sammy came in, right? And then all of a sudden, here's Solo all of a sudden, then he took it over, and Jimmy disappeared. And it was always about Jey Uso, and very happy for him. The 4th member of the Anoa'i family to win the Royal Rumble.
Really impressive. I will say I was watching it with some of my friends. We all, I think there was 6 of us, so each one of us had 5 slots in the Royal Rumble. By the end there, I had Roman Reigns and I had Jey Uso. And I was feeling pretty confident that Reigns would be at least one of the last 2 guys in, so I'd at least get my money back for the Rumble pool. No part of me thought that Jey Uso was going to win it all and that I would win the entire pool of money. So I personally was very happy that Jey Uso won. And I like the fact that they did something different, did something unexpected, really had a lot of people surprised and scrambling. So I feel like it would have been really easy to have, John Cena win or have Reigns win. But Uso was Jey Uso was a fun choice that fans can get behind. And like you're saying, they've been telling this story for a long time, and this kind of closes it out a little bit.
All right, Doug, who you got in the Super Bowl? Are you leaning towards history and a Chief beat, or you like what the Eagles are doing?
I'd love to say the Eagles, but until the Chiefs lose, I just have no confidence that any team can beat them. And I don't know. I mean, I guess ultimately I shouldn't care who wins it, but I would like something a little bit different. I would like the Eagles to win, but I think the Chiefs have got this one pretty handily.
He's Doug Kyed. He's of the Boston Herald, and he's always breaking scoops. You and your guys over there. I saw Zach Cox with some Celtics stuff last night after their big win. Hey, do you have a take on well, everyone's talking about Luka Doncic. You got a take on it?
I mean, if you're the Mavericks, the first thing that I saw when that happened was everyone just being like, oh, Shams got hacked. There's no way this is real. Shams got hacked. And, I went on Reddit to see what people on there were saying. Was just all right, he got hacked. Let's see, what happened. And, no one took it seriously. So if you're the Mavericks in that situation, you have to be feeling pretty bad. I think, there's got to be something more behind the scenes. I know that Doncic was, never staying in shape, and that was not the greatest look. But, my number one take is just that, you should have been calling around the league a little bit to try to get a little bit of a better offer. I mean, AD, I guess that's maybe as good of a player as you could have gotten back, and maybe the Mavs wind up proving us all wrong and being even better without Doncic, but God, to trade a top 5 player for that package, just it feels wild. Doesn't seem worth it to me.
I like it. Everyone's got a take on the Luka stuff. We appreciate it, Doug. Enjoy the Super Bowl this week, man. And I know things will be ramping up for you, man. Appreciate all the time and joining us, and we'll catch up down the line.
Absolutely. Anytime, Joe.
You got it. He's Doug Kyed, everybody, and he's so flexible. He moved time slots, so I got to shout you out for that one. Thank you. He's Doug Kyed, and he's from the Boston Herald, and they're always breaking stories. We're in our chat tonight, and a man is highly defending the Mike Vrabel hire, and then said he loved all his draft picks. And then I went on to go look up some of the draft picks, and it was like Caleb Farley, Treylon Burks, and just Malik Willis. He's just not good. So I just wanted to just, spit facts like I always do. All right, we'll hit the headline here. I'm Joe Murray, and, well, we got more when it comes to the league. And, wow, somebody's looking for a trade. How does it impact the Patriots? We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
formed by the Rams that they're going to move on from. Not your typical number one receiver, but I did feel that there was some. I feel like he's a guy that they should look at. True slot receiver, someone that you can depend on. At least you can get the back end of his career. Sign him to like a 3-year deal and have him stick around for a bit. That locker room and wide receivers, they need leadership in there. And I think he does it the right way. Trade deadline in the NBA is coming up. They've adjusted the itineraries. Some teams will be in the air when the deadline passed, so they've. It's going to be interesting if some guys are on a plane, then they get traded. That would suck. Just saw that coming out right now. Myles Garrett announced that he would like to be traded. How does that impact the New England Patriots? Certainly should. Now, here's the deal. If you were like, Joe, give up the fourth overall pick for Myles Garrett, done. I'm not endorsing that. But if you asked me would I do it, yes. Think about these edge defenders, right? Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to get an extension. He's good. Myles Garrett's probably going to be traded and then extended. TJ Watt's entering a contract year. Okay? So he's going to get extended. Nick Bosa has a guaranteed deal through this year and next year. Khalil Mack, free agent. So that's the thing. When you think of top 5 edge defenders in the league, there they are. Hutchinson, Garrett, Watt, Bosa, Mack. One's a free agent. You can just sign him. You have to give up draft capital for Myles Garrett. The Patriots have the 4th pick, and the easy fix for Cleveland is to draft Abdul Carter. It would just replace what Myles Garrett did. So who would be left on the board for the Patriots at 4? Hypothetically, Travis Hunter's gone. Carter's off the board, and let's say Cam Ward's in there. The 2 players that are linked to the Patriots, and this according to analyst Matt Miller, he's NFL draft scout. He's done some mock drafts for the Patriots. He has 2 players. He has Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, who's the only graded defensive lineman in this draft with a good pass rush and run stop. I think he's legit. Won a championship, was a big part of winning that championship. They draft him at 4. You're building from the inside out, which I think is great. You put him with Barmore, you put him with Godshaw, that's a 3-man rotation there. You don't have Jags playing defensive line anymore. You're now developing. And listen, the Barmore thing, hopefully there's no more health issues. He came back, had to stop again. I don't know where that is, but Mason Graham is a replacement if you have to. They play the same position, believe it or not. Especially, in the 2 gap they do, and I think they will in the 1 gap. The other player they were linked to was defensive end Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer was the dude with the touchdown, right? In the championship game, which hurt my spread. Jack Sawyer is my guy. Where'd he go to school, Skaz?
That would be the Ohio State.
And that's where Mike Vrabel went to school, right? Imagine a Michigan D lineman and an Ohio State defensive end. That would spice some things up, huh? That would be spicy. I'd like that. So it's very interesting what's going on right now. Myles Garrett wants to trade. I think the Patriots should sit tight. Absolutely sit tight. I do think that's interesting when it comes to the trade deadline, though. Like, you could be on the air, literally on the air. And it's like, this is your captain speaking. If you're Jimmy Butler or if you're Shake Milton, you have been traded. Then I'd give them the honk. Honk, honk. We got in or out coming up next. What's it going to be, McFly? We'll do that here next on the Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
That Incubus is coming to Boston, and if I was in or out on it. It doesn't make me move, but I think it's because of the song Are You In? Which this is, which people ask about a lot. Are you in? I don't think it's better than the Max song, though. We'll let you hear that later. James Scaramazzino is here. He leads in or out tonight. He has a list for us. And those watching on YouTube right now, or you would like to watch and join the show, just go to youtube.com, search 98.5 The Sports Hub. You'll see Joe Murray Show right there. Click it. You can create a screen name and you can chat with the team. I see Brokerage Babe in there. Tyler's in there. Sean, David, Rust, Arnold. Should I keep scrolling up? KB, Trent, Asparagus Man, Brother Bluto. Love the screen. I would like to have a party one night where everybody joins the party and it's just their YouTube screen name. Or even their instant messenger name. So Skaz is going to ask, and then in or out, feel free to join along in the chat. Let's go. What do we got, Skaz?
All right, Joe, good to be back. First in or out in over a week, a Monday night edition of In or Out. We will start with the WWE, Joe. I know Royal Rumble over the weekend. I'm sure we'll get some thoughts on that as the show goes on. But, Joe, some news I saw over the weekend is one Stephanie McMahon has her own show coming out in the same vein as Peyton's Places. This will be I believe it's called Stephanie's Places in the exact same vein. Get ready to join Stephanie McMahon on a quest to hear the stories behind the biggest stars in WWE as she ventures into their personal lives. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Stephanie's Places?
Personally, I don't care, but I'm in.
Is that like, I apologize, but I'm not sorry? I don't care, but I'm in?
Kinda. 50-50 yes?
50-50 yes.
In. Here's one thing some people may not know about Stephanie McMahon outside of being Vince McMahon's daughter and Triple H's wife. The John Cena character was dying. It never worked. He was the prototype, ruthless aggression. It wasn't working. He was on the back of a bus, and he was rapping, freestyling. And it started to get over, and she noticed it. She noticed that John Cena could rap. And so she said to him, do you think you could do this on screen? And he goes, yeah. That's how John Cena was created. The doctor of thugonomics. And she was the one who found the gimmick for John Cena to get him over. Look at John Cena now. So I think that she has an eye for talent or knows what's interesting, and so I'm in on it. But without her, we get no. Ooh, what about those horns? For the final time, by the way. Did you watch it?
I watched some of the Rumble, Joe.
Were you rooting for Cena?
Of course. A local guy, good guy.
He is a local guy.
Also a big Peacemaker fan. Very good show on HBO. So, yeah, I like John Cena. I think he's probably him and Batista are significantly better actors than The Rock, and that's when wrestlers really come into my world. So, yeah, Cena, Batista, both better than The Rock.
Did you know that story?
I did not know that story. I don't know anything about Stephanie McMahon other than her dad. Not a great guy.
Not a good guy.
Not a good guy.
I did my buddy Topher.
Our buddy
Topher. Yes, right. We did a segment on his podcast, and it was called The Mount Rushmore of A-Holes. And, well, Vince McMahon was on there.
Yeah, Vince and Hulk maybe both up there, Hulk Hogan?
Vince, Hulk.
Joe, but maybe a childhood hero who we all still like. Netflix announced a new Eddie Murphy documentary will be coming to Netflix. Joe, are you in or out on an Eddie Murphy documentary?
In. Obviously, we know his story. Saturday Night Live, became a great stand-up comedian, started doing movies. I don't know what happened. Was it Shrek? He became like the donkey? He just kind of disappeared for a while. So maybe it was those Shrek movies. He came back, He did the Coming to America 2, which I wasn't.
It was like Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh,
was one of
Dolomite.
those,
I like that one. Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? Everything Eddie Murphy's done, I've watched. Even Boomerang. I've watched everything. So you know what? I'm in.
Did you watch the new Beverly Hills Cop?
I did. I actually really liked it.
It was good? Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and Belky Baltokim is Kosanlari from Mypos. He's remember Perfect Strangers? Belky? I think he calls him Excel. Excel.
Eddie Murphy will be in Shrek 5, Joe.
Oh wow.
2026.
Dude, do you think he made more money on Shrek or Beverly Hills
Shrek.
Cop?
It's got to be Shrek. I feel like they make crazy money on those movies.
Like Coming to America or Shrek?
Shrek. All the Shrek toys and all that crap. Like Shrek is, yeah.
My Girl Wants to Party All the Time or Shrek? It's probably Shrek.
Yeah, Neil's back. Theme park money too. That Shrek theme park money.
That's right.
Yeah. Rolling it in. All right, Joe, we'll stick with, the world of movies and pop culture. Something everyone's been clamoring for. Joe, we have another Matt Damon and Ben Affleck movie coming to Netflix. The film follows a group of Miami cops who discover millions in cash in a derelict stash house. Joe Murray, I don't think we've ever seen a movie anything like this before. Are you in or out on a new Matt Damon and Ben Affleck movie?
In. Good guy, local guy. By the way, I saw the new Dunkin's commercial.
Oh, with Jeremy Strong from Succession. Really getting into character?
So, yes. So, it's Casey talking to Ben. They're both in their Dunkings. I guess I can explain it to you if you want me to, but Casey's the one that's like, dude, you need to chill out. You need to start making better life decisions. And it was just funny. It was kind of like really attacking Ben Affleck's in his life. And then they walk in, and this dude's just chilling in beans. And there was a bad accent in it, though. Like me, I'm from Boston. I have a bad Boston dialect. I tried to learn to lose it, but you hear it every once in a while. But I don't like when guys from Boston use the fake accent. I'm out on that. And in that specific commercial, he's like, yeah, it's just really hot. And it's like, no, dude, you're forcing it. It's like when I watch The Departed, I sometimes just hate the accents. Like when she's the one that's the psychiatrist, when he's like, yeah, why don't you just give me, some Vicodin and a bullet? And she's like, why is always the last patient a day the hottest? And I cringe.
I think of The Fighter when it comes to accents.
That damn Charlene.
That
MTV girl. Who are you talking in my house?
All right, Joe. A place we often have to go during In or Out is reboots. Everything is being remade, Joe. We have two for tonight. We'll start with this. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is being rebooted with...
Who is it?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes!
Joe Murray, I didn't expect this reaction. In or out on Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot.
So for those who don't know this, Sarah Michelle Gellar, my mom watched All My Children growing up. Shout out, Mom. She watched All My Children, and I watched the soap operas, and Erica Kane, who's Susan Lucci, her daughter was Sarah Michelle Gellar on the show. So I knew who she was before Buffy, damn it. And I followed all her other movies. And did she have a nose job? I can't tell. Anyways, give me her. Give me Jennifer Love Hewitt back. Give me them all.
Yeah, whatever happened to Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Jennifer Love Hewitt. Can we get a Can't Hardly Wait Part 2? Amanda. Sarah, who's the other Buffy? Give me her, too. The original Buffy girl there. Come on. Why can't I remember her name? Christy Swanson.
Oh, boy. All right, Joe.
I'm a double Buffy?
I didn't realize you were such a Buffy guy. My apologies.
Dude, what do you think I watched growing up? Dawson's Creek and Buffy. And Gilmore Girls.
All right, Joe. Well, another reboot in the works. I don't know if you're going to be as excited for this one, but it was announced that Little House on the Prairie will be getting a reboot. Not as thrilled, I guess.
Dude, I told you, the only reason why I ever knew what Little House on the Prairie was, it was ancient. So, everybody's watched it. That's old. Sorry, that's an elder. B, it was only on before wrestling on TBS 605 Saturday nights. And it was always, I had to get through Little House on the Prairie. And what was the guy's name? Michael, the lead actor there, and then he became
Michael Landon?
Yeah, him.
Thank Neil for that one.
And he was like a kid, right? What he ended up being on some big show. But it's all
Highway to Heaven.
There you go. But it was the only time I ever saw. I don't know. We don't need a reboot of Little House on the Prairie. Out. The chat's out on that too.
All right, Joe.
Out on the Waltons, they say too. Whatever.
We'll head to the world of snacks for this one. Another place we often travel or in and out. Joe, Pringles, a fixture on the night show. Pringles have collabed with Miller Lite to release beer can chicken flavored chips. Joe Murray, are you in or out on beer can chicken flavored Pringles?
Is it in a Pringles can with a cap like a Pringle chip?
I will put it in Slack right now, but yes, it is in a Pringles can.
If I'm going to get a chicken collab with Pringles, I want it in a can. Beer?
Now, Joe, you're aware of what the Pringles can be used for.
Yes. So let me get, just so we get it, it's like a rotisserie chicken slathered in Miller Lite in a potato chip form. This isn't something I would grab at like if it was 4 for $5 at the old Market Basket like it was today. Not the one I'm going to grab. But if you were like, Joe, I saw this and I need to know if you're in or out. What Pringle don't you like? I like the sour cream. I like the barbecue. The salt and vinegar, is one of the best. I know. See, it slips out. At least it's natural. The cheddar and sour cream, or is it cheddar? I can't remember what it is. I'm trying to think of what else they have. Do you have a ranch? Yeah, in. Let's do it. In.
All right, Joe. Something that's been discussed, I believe, on other shows, not ours, though. Adam Silver made some waves over the weekend. It might have been Friday afternoon, where he said the NBA might be considering 10-minute quarters instead of your traditional 12. Joe Murray, are you in or out on 10-minute quarters in the NBA?
Out. Don't change the game.
Yeah, hard out.
Don't change the game. No less threes. If you want to change the game, less replays, less timeouts.
Less timeouts.
That's it, right?
We've been told these are the best athletes in the history of the NBA. They're at their physical peak. The guys in the 70s and 80s played against plumbers and construction workers. I think they can handle 48 minutes a night.
Can I give you one more that's I'm teetering on?
Maybe the Mavs wouldn't have traded Luka if it was 10-minute quarters.
Oh! And if you look on Twitter, Trent, our intern, he has made the conditioning bros. It's a photo of Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, the greatest player on the planet, who's a bill of health, let me tell you. But it's the conditioning bros with beer, cigars, and that looks like a McDouble. Is that a McDouble?
Joey, come on. You're the one that should answer that question.
That looks to me like a McDouble. The conditioning bros, though, I retweeted it. Hasn't gotten much love yet, though. Maybe we'll go viral soon. But just stop it with your Luka's out of shape. You watch Nikola Jokic, that man. That dude could probably drink a 12-pack during the game.
I don't think the Penguins were worried about Phil Kessel's diet when he was helping them win Stanley Cups.
That's right. I don't think anybody was. Yeah, like Babe Ruth, when he was smacking home runs. You think he cared that he had a cigarette in his mouth and was drinking a beer and hot dogs? How'd that work out for the Red Sox when they traded his ass for that? Anything else tonight?
Joe, we will end with this one. A friend of the show, DraftKings, has put out something I think you're going to be very excited for the big game, Joe. Super Bowl Sunday. We are getting Swiftie specials on DraftKings, Joe. Taylor Swift basically titles of songs linked to bets in the game. So, for example, Shake It Off would be Eagles to score first and Kansas City Chiefs to win. That is plus 300.
The Shake It Off?
The Shake It Off bet.
All right.
Gold Rush would be Saquon Barkley to have 20-plus rushing yards in each quarter, plus 350. 22, obviously famous Taylor Swift song.
22.
Any quarter to have 22-plus points scored.
Oh, I like that one.
Plus 350. Let's see if we can...
let me say, is there an unbended knee?
I
that he proposes to her?
I believe there was, but I don't know.
Now, that's not a Taylor song. I'd have to find a... But I just went Boys to Men on you.
How about anti-hero, Joe?
Ooh.
Would be Jalen Hurts to throw 3+ passing touchdowns and score 1 rushing touchdown.
It must be exhausting rooting for him. By the way, did you see the stanky leg last night by Taylor at the Grammys?
Can't say I saw it,
She was doing
Joe,
the
but
stanky leg.
yes, dorky Taylor Swift in full effect at the award shows, as she often is. She's a theater kid, Joe.
I thought
that's who she is.
She looked like a diamond. She's shine bright like a diamond.
I mean, nervous for a second there, Joe. Do you think the T on her leg was for Taylor or for Travis? The internet needs to know.
Stands for Chief Red.
The T stands for Chief Red.
The red was Chief Red.
Okay.
The T stands for Travis and Taylor.
T squared is what you're telling me. That sounds like a cop-out to me. But
right on her thigh right there.
Blank space, Joe. Xavier Worthy to have 2+. Blank space. Xavier Worthy to have a 50+ yard reception.
So I got a blank space, baby. I'll write your name as Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy plus 1,600.
Ah.
So I'm gonna guess Joe Murray's in on Swifty specials.
In. So for I haven't even looked at our chat yet, but I would just like to say I am a fan of Taylor Swift.
It seems like the chat is more in than out on the Swifty specials.
I'm a realist of Taylor Swift. I don't go out and run out and buy her albums. I don't.
To be accurate when we're talking about T Swift.
I listened. I saw the Eras tour at the damn movie theater. I went to the movie theater to see that thing, and I got myself. I was made fun of this, but I got a Taylor Swift bucket of popcorn. I wanted to bring my Darth Vader mask, but they didn't allow me to bring my buckets, so I got a Taylor bucket instead. But when she did the, "Are you ready for it?" I was like, "Whoa!" So yes, I'm a changed man on Taylor. I've always been in. I don't even care that she's with Travis, by the way. Like, none of that. I care. Because here's the deal. She don't need Travis. Travis needs her. Oh, no. This is Monday. Am I going to get to Sunday?
I think we're in for a good full show on Friday night, Joe. We're going to have some fun.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
That will wrap up.
By the way, I've been informed that the T stands for tortured.
For the Poets, for the album. Okay. Yeah, sure. If you're buying that, sure.
And she didn't win.
No, she did not.
Even though she had the stanky leg.
I believe Beyonce won, I think.
In or out? You ready? In or out on Beyonce winning Country Album of the Year?
She won. She did not win Country
Whatever
Album
it was.
She won Album of the Year.
Whatever. What is that then? What's the difference?
Beyonce didn't win any awards at the CMAs, I believe.
No. Last night was the Grammys.
I know, but I'm saying she did not win a single award at the Country Music Awards.
So, but she wins a Grammy?
Joe, don't shoot the messenger.
Wait, no, just hang on. At the Country Music Awards.
I believe she did not win.
She went goose egg.
I believe so.
But at the Grammys.
Joe, I can't say I'm an expert in this. I'm just relaying what I've heard and seen.
Huh. This is like Rodney Harrison not making the Pro Bowl, but was an All-Pro. How does that happen?
Yeah. Do I think Cowboy Carter was the best album of the year? I have no idea. But Beyonce,
this ain't Texas.
She should have won an album of the year at some point. So if this is them, making good there, fine with me.
Hey, listen,
I don't care.
Years ago when Kanye did his thing, and by the way, Kanye last night ejected.
False. I heard.
Whoa,
I heard that was a false report.
No, I don't know. What was his girl? I don't even know. Should save this for musings, huh? We gotta go to break. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to
We have to go to headlines.
Whoops.
From the Town Fair Time Studios, this is your home for every Patriots game.
Look into the end zone, trying to keep the play alive. Falling down, he goes to the end zone. He's got it! Touchdown!
WBZ-FM at HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Nick Caley, the new offensive coordinator for the Texans. Patriots bring in Todd Downing as their receivers coach. Myles Garrett's asked for a trade. Celtics play Cleveland tomorrow. And the Beanpot earlier tonight, it was BU all over Harvard 7-1. Northeastern and BC just getting underway right now. The score is, well, nothing. It hasn't started yet. Headlines are brought to you by Awake 180 Weight Loss. Enjoy this Sunday's game while dropping with Awake 180 Weight Loss. Wings, meatballs, drinks, all on the menu. Results for real life. Awake180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. We'll go to break in a second.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
I just need confirmation on this one, Skaz, real quick. Josh is in the car. Hey, Josh. Hey, Josh, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey.
Beyonce did win Country Album of the Year.
Yep.
She beat out Post Malone's country album and then some other country people, and I am out.
Post Malone is not country, just for the record.
No, he has a country album now, though.
Yeah, I know, but if you're going to be upset about Beyonce winning, I mean, Post Malone, not a country artist either.
No, I'm not. That's not why I'm upset that she won, because she's not country. It's just that the album wasn't that good.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. I can respect that take.
Very interesting that Taylor was the one who announced it, right? And then Beyonce is the one that won it. You know? What I saw was Beyonce's reaction was like when you hit on 16 at the blackjack table, but you didn't bust. See, everyone got that one. See, Trent got that. Hey, we're going to talk to Grant Afseth. He's from the Mavericks beat. What is going on in Dallas? We'll talk to him next here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray with you guys tonight until 10 o'clock. We have done some Super Bowl talk, some Patriots stuff as well. And while everybody's talking about the Luka Doncic trade, it is literally one of the biggest trades in NBA history. And somehow I feel the Celtics were behind a lot of this. But why don't we go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline right now? Because sources that are on the ground, we've had him on the show before. He covers the Mavericks for Dallas Hoops Journal. It's Grant Afseth joining us here on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Grant, you're on in Boston with Joe Murray. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Grant, well, by the way, how are you doing, man? I mean, listen, I saw the fans outside the stadium with a casket. The team was a no-show last night. I mean, this thing shocked the NBA world. What was your initial thoughts, and did you believe it was true?
Well, I definitely did not believe it was true. I had to quickly send off as many texts as humanly possible to everyone that I knew connected to NBA teams to make sure it was or wasn't. And, soon enough, I found out that it was true. And, I never thought a franchise, let alone the Mavericks, would try to trade, let alone actually do it, trade Luka Doncic, especially, 5-time All-NBA first team consecutively, 25-year-old player, less than a calendar year removed from, leading the Mavericks to a finals appearance.
So, obviously, you're on the flagship of the Boston Celtics. I know we had you on during the finals last year, and I mean, let's face it, there were times where Luka Doncic is an incredible player, but defensively, he had his breakdowns. And I still think he needs a little bit more support, and I think they tried to do that there. But I at least want to give the Celtics some credit. Did ownership see that? Did they look at that as long-term, this guy and his principles and his conditioning and his defense, it's hard to build around this, but also long-term with the Supermax. Did what happened in the finals, his injury this year, when did they finally had enough? And I just, were there ever discussions of ever moving on from Luka Doncic?
I think everything was kept very under wraps about moving Luka. I think that was very intentional because, as a lot of people have reported, if they would have done so, his own side of the equation, his management, his personal team, himself, they could have, created a trade request, lowered his value, things of that nature. So that had to be kept airtight. But overall, I do think naturally, a lot of times with this stuff, you have to look at the money situation. And the way Nico Harrison, I think, has alluded to it, essentially, it seemed like the Mavericks weren't prepared to offer him the Supermax, even though Luka was prepared to accept it and play for the Mavericks for a very long time. And I think those reasons that you listed, I'm sure some of those, if not all of them, probably did factor into it. I'm sure, especially the physical conditioning seems to be a primary thing that a lot of the focus has been placed on. He brought his own personal team, a trainer from the Slovenian national team. He brought over to work with him full time year round, as well as a former physiotherapist from Real Madrid and a dietitian or whatever the terminology for that position is. To be around him, travel with the team, and things of that nature. And perhaps they didn't see eye to eye on how the handling of the day to day was taken care of. But definitely seems to be the case that there was hesitancy, if not just an unwillingness to offer the Supermax, and then fear of what would happen if that was the case, since Doncic could have felt disrespected by that and maybe pursued getting out of Dallas.
I was going to ask you that next question. Is ownership now trying to take the power back in the NBA, right? LeBron James had the power for years, right? Went to Miami, could go back to Cleveland, ended up in L.A. You see Jimmy Butler doesn't want to get traded because he won't opt into his $52 million. I mean, there was a lot of players that really controlled the league. Is this just an example of new ownership now, maybe scared of the Supermax and long-term tax implications and trying to take the power back, but setting an example early on?
I think that absolutely is what the situation is. I think that really shows that if a team is unwilling to not give that Supermax offer to a player like Luka than what players necessarily would command that Supermax deal. And so I think that would lead you to believe that overall maybe teams are just becoming very, hesitant, if not just outright unwilling at all, to entertain the Supermax, because the second apron on the CBA restricts teams so much that you're bound to get into that level of spending if you do have a player making that much of the salary cap distribution. So I think that truly probably is at this point what it's going to be going forward for a lot of teams, unless they have just an irrefutable talent with a lot of draft picks that they can be able to get cheap replacements or cost control replacements, I should say, for players they may have to be prepared to move on from. There's a lot of teams around the league right now that are essentially gridlocked, and if you have an aging core, you're going to be very limited on making replacements to the supporting cast. I think a team like the Milwaukee Bucks right now, I think a lot of people would not hesitate to give Giannis a Supermax, but in general, they have an older group of role players, and they're going to have a very tough time changing and adding talent as they need to, as those players, wind down in their effectiveness.
Talking with Grant Afseth, he covers Dallas Hoops for the Dallas Hoops Journal. You just brought up some of these aging cores. Isn't that exactly what Dallas is now? Adding Anthony Davis, who, by the way, I want to give him his credit. I mean, his 5 years with the Lakers, he won a championship. It was a success. And he's been healthy, right? He's rehabilitated himself. So clearly a good player, good trade here as far as players go, but I don't know, how big's the window? How long is the window? And my other question is, are they done? Is Dallas done? Could they be in the mix for another contract?
I think they are most likely to extend Anthony Davis, and I think just based off what I've researched, that would take it to the age 37 season for him. And whether you or I think that would still be an effective time of his career and Kyrie Irving's career, or Klay Thompson's career, they seem to believe that this next 3 to 4 years they have a legitimate chance to contend. I'm very skeptical of it, barring any drastic additional changes. I just don't necessarily see, especially this season, they're already 9th in the West. I don't really see them climbing out of that hole effectively. A lot of their success last season, especially in the postseason, there was a very thin margin for error. They went on a crazy run after the All-Star break with elite defense. That could be possible, defensively speaking, with their current group. Adding Anthony Davis is very, impactful to a defense. But, they already had the majority of their offense flowing through Luka. That's, a floor raiser for the whole team, and not having that force is going to be very challenging to overcome. Kyrie himself, against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs, struggled against blitzing. He was, he had a lot of underwhelming performances, struggled against the Celtics that late in a run. Whether some of that was just, physical things that he had dealt with at that time, or just, how effective the Celtics were defensively, that was done with him being the second option. I can't imagine that changing with him being now the first option, having to get them through all that point. Plus, he's also dealing with a bulging disc injury. So I think that's an additional concern. That doesn't get better as the season goes on. So, you don't get injured players that have to manage injuries don't get healthier as more basketball happens. So I don't really see it this season. I think going forward as well, there's a lot of talented teams in the Western Conference especially that are going to only get better and better. You just saw the San Antonio Spurs trade for De'Aaron Fox. I'm sure, after having a full off season, Victor Wembanyama getting even better, especially after playing in Eurobasket for France, he's only going to progress. Oklahoma City Thunder are always going to be a threat. They're already arrived as a first seed in the West, and they're only going to get better. I can go on and on about the rest of the West, but especially with Jokic being in the conference too, I just don't necessarily see a team adding the secondary talent from the Lakers that got swept by the Nuggets, not having a LeBron or Luka talent being able to fare better against that same Nuggets team, for example. I don't see that construction.
Grant, can you just tell us a little of Nico Harrison? I only really know him as the guy that screwed up Steph Curry's name. But like, how did this all happen? How did he took over with the GM role? And I mean, is this guy qualified to make these type of moves?
I personally think more brain trust should probably have gotten into it. He was brought in primarily to recruit players because of his role with Nike and relationships with players, including Anthony Davis. He had a relationship with Kyrie Irving since he was 16 years old as well. So being on that AAU circuit, he's got a lot of connections with players. But I think being a recruiter is definitely different than making historic trade decisions that send shockwaves through the NBA. I think the ownership group is very new to basketball as well. I think more than the fresh to the basketball decision making process probably should have been involved. I personally don't think that a trade like this would have happened if Mark Cuban was the owner.
Ah, yes. I was going to ask you that as well. One last thing. The Celtics obviously are going for back-to-back, and they're going to get a new owner. They're selling the team, and, well, they have a $500 million tax. Like, this thing's going to be pretty big here. I will say that people said the same things about Tatum and Brown when they were 24 and 25, that they weren't tough enough. It was never about their conditioning. It was always about, can they get over the hump, can they work together? And the Celtics stuck with it. They gave Jaylen Brown a max contract after he had the worst Game 7 of his life, and then gave it to Jason Tatum. Like, they're locked in. Do you think this is next now? A new owner comes into Boston. They obviously don't own their stadium, so where do they get their income from? Do you think this is now the way of the NBA, and do you think that will happen to the Celtics?
I think it's very possible because there's also a parallel with Dallas too. They don't own the American Airlines Center. They don't even own the parking lots around.
And then no gambling, right?
Either.
There's no
there's no gambling.
I went to WrestleMania a couple of years ago in Dallas, and I'm like, wow, there's more strip clubs, but there's absolutely no gambling anywhere. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's even part of the motivation for the ownership group to buy the team too. They come from that casino background, and the hope is that they can, eventually have gambling brought to Texas, build that resort-style casino arena, the whole situation, and profit off of it. So, it's definitely. I think that's part of the equation as well for even buying the Mavericks.
Yeah, it reminds me of the movie Major League. You know how the owner wanted them to be so bad that they could move them? Is that what's happening here? Like, could the Mavericks be so bad?
I don't know if that's happening, but there's definitely been a lot of fans in my mentions on social media. First of all, and speaking of that, I have to always remember that I posted a lot of Nico Harrison's comments from his press conference. So when I see all these people saying, like, vulgar, mean things, I'm like, wow, what did I do to make these people mad? I was like, oh, wait, I have to remember it's the other person that did this, not me.
Is it true that Luka bought a house and just bought a house recently in Dallas?
Yeah, it's true. He was closing towards the end of this month on a house in Dallas, and he was closing on a new house. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think people?
Yeah, he was blindsided by the trade. Like, they completely blindsided by it, and his father even was on a broadcast on Slovenian TV because they did some broadcasts of like those early afternoon games where the time change makes it to where it's still viewable for European fans. He was on Slovenian TV and talked about like the secrecy of the trade and was just baffled by it and felt like the process was disrespectful to Luka for the things that he contributed to the team.
Do you think he's now the next LA star for the Lakers?
I think so. I think he's someone that's going to thrive, especially being, on that brand of the Lakers, because they're a target every time they go on the road. He's someone that loves to find someone in the crowd, hear the trash talk, and, elevate his game, use it as motivation. I think he's going to be a ideal villain in that Lakers uniform to be able to be that next superstar.
Ooh, Celtics Lakers. That's why I had to get you on, because this is This is the biggest conversation. I just had a football guy on, and we were talking about basketball. It's just this is the biggest thing going on. I can't remember a trade this big in any sport.
Oh no, I definitely don't either. It was completely shocking. I think actually I saw no All-NBA, like reigning All-NBA players have been traded mid-season for each other. Like it's completely unprecedented.
Until it happened with De'Aaron Fox, right, and Zach LaVine right after that. Hey, how's Jason Kidd doing? Is he on board with all this?
He says he's on board with it. I think I'm sure he doesn't mind coaching. Obviously someone that he helped win a title with as an assistant with the Lakers. I'm sure, as someone who really takes pride in the defensive side of the floor. I'm sure there's a positive element for him. But overall, I think being, as he said, told about the trade in the 11th hour, I'm sure it's very shocking. All the players in the locker room were very shocked as well too. Like some felt like they're like on the look on their face like they're still processing it. They get a little text in the group chat from Luka, and then still hasn't quite sunk in that he's completely gone, because he was supposed to come back. Members of his team. I had heard that he was supposed to come back on the 8th, and so the whole expectation for the last month was, we just got to get through this next couple weeks. Luka will be back, and now he won't even be a part of the franchise. So it's a very, very different change. Even not to ramble too much, but even Nico Harrison did an interview very recently with a friend of mine in New Orleans on the 17th or 16th of the month, and had said, we like our team. We just need to get healthy, and we're looking forward to being healthy. We'd rather have these injuries now. So that was just the entire expectation from everyone involved.
All right, well, I know the Celtics take on the Mavericks on Thursday night. Will they see Anthony Davis?
I'm actually not sure. He was ruled out for tomorrow night's game with this same injury that he had dealt with prior. So I think it's a very, real possibility he may miss that game as well, but we'll definitely know more, a little bit closer to that time. But, they said, I think the Lakers expected him to miss a week with that injury, and he suffered it last Tuesday. So I think I think it'll be like 50-50 if I had to guess.
I'll go 50-50, yes, on that one. And by the way, anyone that's listening to Kyrie Irving, like we saw that here in Boston, I just feel like he's going to make out in this one. Like he's going to get a long-term extension. Like he's up, extension eligible now. Like how did Kyrie somehow make it out of this and Luka Doncic didn't? It will blow my mind. Absolutely. All right, Grant, appreciate you, man. I know you got a lot going on, dude. Are you coming to Boston?
I am. I'm in Philadelphia right now. I had to decide: do I go to LA for the introduction to Luka, or do I go to Philadelphia? But yeah, I'll be on the road trip in Boston.
I think you made the right choice. So well, Grant, I appreciate you taking a few minutes here. Maybe we'll catch up down the line with another Celtics Mavericks finals. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident on one side than the other, and I'll let you guess which one for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, he's Grant Afseth. Check him out. Covers the Dallas Mavericks for Dallas Hoops Journal. Joining us here on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Thanks, Grant. Wow. Luka was about to close on a house and was blindsided.
Yeah, I think a couple interesting things coming out of that, and thanks to Grant. But the casino thing, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've gotten texts during the show of hardcore NBA fans, conspiracy theories from my buddies that they're tanking the franchise so that when Vegas is up for a team, this family that owns the Mavericks has a casino already. They'll be the team in Vegas.
Yeah, they'll suck.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
The NBA has said since they want to expand. They don't want to replace or relocate. They want 2 new teams. It's going to be Seattle and it's going to be Vegas.
I just feel like you can't.
The Mavericks it's too big a market too. Like that's a massive, massive market.
Yeah. I told you I went there. I didn't love the area. It was huge, very clean. It was just too big. Like, again, I'm from Boston, so, I can get everywhere in 15 minutes. Damn good barbecue, though. And there are strip clubs everywhere. Like, when I used to think about Pac-Man Jones, if he ever played in Dallas. It wouldn't have been good for him. By the way, Arlington and Dallas is, I believe, further than Boston and Foxborough.
And on the Luka contract thing, too, he's going from Texas, where he was going to get the Supermax. No income tax there, I believe. No state tax.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's going to California, where he will not be getting the Supermax. So a big pay cut to Luka Doncic.
Luka's going to be in a movie. He's gonna be L.A. star. Oh, Showtime's back, baby. Showtime's back. And again, I don't care if he's smoking a pack of cigarettes or eating a McDouble on the court during the game. Yeah, you ever play a game like I used? Okay, I know we're up against it. Just real quick on this one, I used to play a lot of pickup sports, and you'd always be like, "Oh, dude's not gonna make it today." Like, he was drank last night all day. I used to play in a league where we used to play games at like 8 and 9 in the morning on Sundays. And, like, the quarterback would get in the huddle and open his mouth, and we'd be like, whoa, we could, like, smell the booze on his lungs. But we'd always be like, where's this guy? And I don't care if that guy needed to drink to crack a beer to get it going. Let's go, bro. If he needed to pack a smoke, we need to smoke a joint. Let's do it, bro. Let's get it going.
I was just watching Marshawn Lynch was with Peyton, and Peyton was like, what was your pregame routine? And he said a shot and a half of Hennessy before every game.
Yeah.
You don't want Marshawn Lynch in your backfield? You don't want that guy on your football
shot
team?
Of Hennessy? Oh, is that what he was doing when he was driving the cart? Did you ever see the video of him driving the cart at Cal?
Yeah.
I love that.
Great video.
A shot of Hennessy before the game.
That's what he told Peyton.
I've never done that. I've never done a shot of Hennessy before a game.
After a game, different story.
Just whatever they throw at you at that point, right? Just like, hey, here's cool. Thanks, man. And then getting stoned before a game, forget it. All right, we got to hit the headline. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
Someone just said, is it true that Maz discovered Joe working at a Hooters? Which, well, again, this is, we just need to make the bit when the listeners aren't listening. What really happened was I was organically out with my friends from home in Dedham. When I walked in, there was a 98.5 street team with a table. And the guy that was at the table was Skaz. And I met Skaz before, so I think I knew who he was. And I'm like, what's up, man? They're like, dude, all your friends are here. I'm like, yeah, I know, they're all jerks. And he's like, yeah, they're all asking about you. And so, yes, I met Skaz for the first time. Where is Skaz?
At a Hooters.
So people think that I met Skaz at a Hooters.
Yeah, some people have asked if I was working at the Hooters at the time, which I was, but I was not working for Hooters. I was working for the 98.5 street team at Hooters that day.
Yeah. And then people think that for me, just to get the night job in full time, that I had to get someone off the street to be the producer. So they think that I got you off the street at Hooters and you're now the producer.
Man, it's a pretty good origin story there, Joe.
It's funny. Like, dude, it is so funny what people really think. So as I've come to a point now, I've worked here for 13 years and doing this for like almost 20, to the point where like people are just going to think whatever they want, right? Like you could tell them the truth, but they just don't want it to be that way. Oh yeah. It's like we're all fake people. The other day I was at a card show.
Do I amuse you, Joe?
No, but I was at a card show the other day and he goes, wow, you're really cool, man. You're not as fat as I thought you were. And I go,
thanks, I guess.
I just like who says that to somebody? And back in the day, Skaz, I was a quick reactor. I was a quick slapper. I was a slapper. Backhanded slap, actually. But you know what I did? I went, thanks for listening, man.
You were the bigger man, Joe.
I was the bigger man. Well, another bigger man thing happened that we got to replay. We got the musings coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray.
On a random take, Murray's got all sorts of stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
Murray's Musings here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, approaching 9 o'clock. Well, I have we have 2 pieces of audio and 1 story, and we'll try to get it in as fast as we can. People have been asking me, Joe, what happened with you and Maz? And Maz was trying to make the claim that Tom Brady's win over Patrick Mahomes shouldn't count because it was Patrick Mahomes' first full on the show. I kind of just let those guys do their thing because why should I let facts get in the way of their narratives, right? I mean, they're a very successful show. Very successful show. So when I'm in, I just can't sit there sometimes and listen to this stuff. So they went to break. And I said, Maz, I got to talk to you about something off when we get back, man, because I could just sit here and let it go, but I can't. And well, I don't know if we have the whole thing here, Skaz, or what you have. Do I need to set up anything else here, or should we just hear it? Let's listen. Didn't do it in his first full season. I just want to tell you that Tom Brady did.
I'm just telling you, most guys don't.
Hey, listen, defense or not, Brady did it. Mahomes did it.
Brady was a veteran by the time he played Mahomes.
It was this. Okay.
It's not apples to apples.
It's not apples to apples.
Don't be
that Tom Brady in his first full season won a championship.
Joe.
And Patrick Mahomes did it.
I'm talking about
That's not a fact.
I'm talking about the head-to-head, Joe. Don't be a...
They were head-to-head.
Joe, don't be a bitch like everybody else out there.
I'm being called a bitch because I'm right? Felger drinking his water like Belichick back there. That's a fact. Tom Brady, in his first full season, won a championship. Patrick Mahomes lost to the Patriots. That happened.
Who is a better quarterback?
Don't care it happened. Admit it.
Who is a better quarterback in his first full season, Mahomes or Brady?
Tom Brady won the championship, so I will give him the award.
So Mahomes, had he played with that Patriots team, wouldn't
does it? What does my point not loud enough? Do I have to speak louder?
No.
Your point was Brady beat Mahomes in his first season, but yet Tom Brady won the championship in his first full season.
Yes, your logic is flawed. Hello?
Mike, please, is this the cul-de-sac right now, or is it just is it a fact central?
It's a cul-de-sac.
I don't need to step all over that. It's the debate. That's what we do. This is free speech.
Just a reminder of where
action,
Maz
Jimmy.
is coming from.
And you pulled a Marchand on me, calling me a bitch.
Well,
that's what Marchand does at the end of games when they're getting their asses kicked.
No, I really said don't be a bitch like the people out there is what I meant, but it didn't all come out.
We're just right. So, yes. You know, it's been very hard for me to... That's why we work, in fact, on the show. When I say tap out, I at least get facts. You might not like the take, but they're facts. You might think it sucks, my take, and I'll live with it. But it's fact. So to sit here and tell... Remember when Tom Brady played in his first year? Remember that? He won. So we're discrediting Tom Brady beating Mahomes. But we're not going to give him the credit for doing it his first year. That one, Skaz, they don't... Listen. That's a drive time radio show, everybody. They're in New Orleans and we're here, Skaz. It's probably a good thing that we're not in New Orleans, by the way.
We got all day to recover, Joe.
I'd be drinking Hurricanes right now, talking smack to everybody. Oh, I'd love to be at Radio Row right now. You know what I would do is I would just ask weird questions to everybody today. Like, hey, Saquon, what do you really feel about the Giants?
They need a quarterback, is what I heard he said.
Yes, he did. How do you really feel about the Giants? One more. Well, why don't we play the Max audio? Well, no, one more. All right, we shared this the other day. We've been holding this one, but fortunately some other shows got to it because we have full shows. But a woman was torturing her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend by sending messages of farts. Now, I've heard of revenge tactics, switching out like certain shampoos to ruin their hair. I've heard that one before. Maybe farting in their car. I mean, getting back in it. I just have been curious, like, what are some other crazy revenge stories on exes? That one, though, Skaz, you got to be real diabolical to just send fart noises to your ex's new girlfriend. And are charges being pressed, by the way?
Wait, so it was the ex sending them, or it was the new girlfriend sending them to the ex?
I thought it was the ex.
This is
the new girlfriend. Wow, this is the story's changed.
We got to get our facts straight, Joe.
Because we work in fact. But I liked where we were going at first. Now this is now a swerve, Skaz. Let's get the facts.
A 25-year-old woman is sending videos of her passing gas to the boyfriend's ex. So it is the current girlfriend.
So the current girlfriend is sending the farts to the ex, not the ex. And what's the ex doing?
See, to me...
What's the ex doing?
That's a major red flag there, Joe.
Yeah, if I'm dating somebody...
Who's sending fart videos?
Who's sending fart videos to my ex? What are you doing? What are you contacting my ex for?
Seems like an indictment on my character.
And the thing is that now the person I'm dating is a past gasser?
Not just a past gasser, Joe, but one who is documenting it and sending it around.
And who wants to hear that? You're dating somebody new and you're going to hear their farts? Out. That's an ick. That's an ick.
Joe, that goes beyond ick.
Listen, we all fart, okay? We all fart. It happens. Sometimes a toot just happens, especially while they're sleeping.
Is that like a ride or die right there? A ride or die chick if she's sending fart videos to your ex?
Yeah, but bro, are you in on that?
Out. I don't want any contact between current girlfriend and ex-girlfriend. There doesn't need to be contact there.
What happens if you break up with this girl now?
They're like fart buddies or
crap
something?
on your lawn? Like what?
Oh, those Pringles cans might be coming back into play, Joe.
Trent, our new intern.
Getting his first full Joe Murray show tonight.
For real, though. Now, no, I'd be afraid to break up with this new girl now.
I have to change my phone number.
She might.
That was a big sniff right there, Joe.
So just to get the facts right, it's not the ex attacking the new girlfriend.
No, apparently it is the current girlfriend farting and sending it to the ex.
So what do? You grab your phone and you just stuff. Like
Joe, you're focused on the logistics of it.
No, for real. Okay, like I've had friends fart in front of a lighter before. Okay.
Not surprising in the least.
I mean, sometimes when I see Taylor Swift, when they show a picture,
where is this going?
It does look like the microphone's at her butt.
I don't even know what that means.
But she's gonna fart into it. But like, I've never had a friend in my life pick up their cell phone. I've never. So again, it's a woman who did this, who's scorned because of the woman. But has anybody ever just picked up their phone and farted into it, recorded it, and sent it to somebody? I could do 5 calls, says it all if you want. Smells it all.
Joe, my question comes in. You're worried about the logistics of this happening?
Yes.
How many fart videos do you have to receive before you're filing a complaint?
Yeah, then what do you do when you file the complaint? Hey, listen, I got to talk to you about something. I'm being harassed. What do you mean? My ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend just keeps sending me fart videos. What would you do? I'd be like, can I hear them? Are they videos?
Your first question is, can you hear them?
Yes. Chat, everybody in chat, have you ever done this before? Has anybody ever farted into their phone and sent it to somebody? I don't think I have. I can't.
You don't think?
I don't think I have. I'd have to think about it.
But if you put on the stand, you couldn't definitively say.
If I can't definitively say. Now, what we used to do back in the day, this is some real ratchet. We used to take a cup. You know this one, Trent? we used to take a cup, and if you farted in it and covered it really quick and held it there and incubated it, if you sticked it inside, you would stick it in someone's face while playing like Mortal Kombat or something like that, and all you would hear is.
Yeah, but that at least that seems like it's for his own personal file, Joe. You know, he's got his own highlight reel. He's not sending that highlight reel out to anyone. That's for his own personal, you know.
What? Just to hear how it sounds today?
Yeah.
Hey man, listen to this compilation I made. But it's coming from the girlfriend.
Yeah, that's where my problem really lies with this court case.
All right, Brian says he wants to send me the fire compilation. What do you think?
Joe, you're the one who just said your first question would be like, "Can I hear them?" So I mean, I think this guy Brian's going to send you a fart video.
Joe Murray at 985thesportshub.com.
Please put farts in the subject line.
Just put farts. I'll send it to Skaz. We'll play it Friday night.
Maybe.
Or should I save it or should I save it for Valentine's Day? Yeah, Tangway let him rip all the time in the studio. Girl.
Have you ever been in studio?
Zoe.
Okay.
Zoe. I mean, listen, dude. We all rip. Like, come on.
Not a lot of airflow in that studio.
Sometimes, yeah. You could tell who's been in before you sometimes from just the... Like, sometimes I smell salad from Felger. When John Hamblett worked here, it smelled like real rolled cigarettes. Like, he used to roll his own cigarettes, and I would smell it all the time. Like, that tobacco smell. I'm going to look up that story again. What happened here? Like, did she stop?
I believe she said alcohol was involved. They sent her to a 90-day or something, no alcohol.
90-day rehab for farts?
I could be, maybe it was 60, but something to that effect. And
60 days?
A restraining order was put in place, I believe.
All right, so like a restraint. That's kind of like a harassment thing.
Stop sending me fart videos.
Salad farts, man. Out. I wanted to play one more thing. We'll go into break on this one. But the Celtics won last night, and we heard Cedric Maxwell do some sort of beat, and I think we found the beat. We'll go to break listening to this.
This is Boston's home for sports.
He scored! What a blast by Boston! Waiting, Holiday screams, good night!
WBCFM and HD Boston. 95, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Myles Garrett asked to be traded from Cleveland. The Texans have hired former Patriots tight end Nick Gailey. Todd Downing hired as the Patriots' new receivers coach. Celtics Cleveland. They'll play tomorrow night at the Bean Pod. It was BU all over Harvard. Get it? Beans? BU all over Harvard 7-1. BC with a 3-1 lead right now over Northeastern. Headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Enjoy Sunday's game while dropping weight with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Wings, meatballs, drinks, all on the menu. Results for life. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. Don't fart.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score to the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. Just wanted to get a couple of birthdays in today, as I didn't do it. And Blythe Danner, 82 years old. Morgan Fairchild, 74. Nathan Lane, 69. Nice. Hyde Park's own Maura Tierney. Maura Tierney grew up literally maybe 9 houses away from me. She was in She was in The Office. Remember, she was Mr. California. Wow, did you hear that one? Mr. California's wife. She was in ER. She was in Liar Liar. But Hyde Park literally grew up a street over from me. Good family. 60. She's 60. Wow. Warwick Davies, 55 years old today. Isla Fisher, 49 years old today. Somebody named Daddy Yankee is 48. Who's that? Sean Kingston, 35 years old today.
Joe, did you have one Fred Lynn?
Ooh.
Birthday today.
Everybody loves Fred Lynn.
73. And Joe, you know who Daddy Yankee is.
Why am I forgetting? Who I can't remember. Should I know this? Lita! Got that fart gasolina. Just to continue on, because we haven't yet. Last night was the Grammys. And well, we used to do an edition of Joey Goes to the Grammys. Not sure, I'm not sure what you've pulled up there in the past, but we've had some hits over the years. Let me myself in a bottle of her perfume. I want her long blonde. That's Girl Crush.
I can honestly say I don't know this one, Joe.
Girl Crush 2016.
Who was that by?
Well, that's a good question. Girl Crush was... Girl Crush was a song by Little Big Town. How about 2017 Skaz number 2?
2016, Joe.
Oh, we're already in 16. We just did 16.
That's all for Grammys. That's all we got.
We don't have 17, 18.
Let me see. I'll see if I can find them.
All right, well, give me number 2 then. What's number 2 of 16?
You're going to like number 2, Joe.
All right, here we go. Grammy was one of the finest. I want to play one more, because I know we had one from the summer that I think was up for a big award last night. I want to say this performer played on Christmas? Or was it Thanksgiving? Can't remember.
Oh, so Joe, you don't want a coffee-related one. You don't want that one?
Oh, no, that's the one I wanted.
That is the one.
No. I don't know why I did that. I want the coffee-related
yes,
one. I was thinking of
Shabuzi. You're thinking Shabuzi, which we also have.
Shabuzi.
But no, you want the people's favorite from this summer.
Yes.
Joey Murr's Summer Hits.
Yes, and by the way, if you listen to the end of the Celtics game last night, when the game ended and the other team lost, right?
Celtics won.
The Celtics won, but they ended up playing this song. I don't know what happened for the Celtics winning, but we'll go to break with one of the Grammys. Joey Goes to the Grammys, a hit song that everybody loved, and we'll have more coming up. So move it up. Tenacious Tomatoes in there right now. Called me a jokomotive. Some JP and NB asked about a duet. I'm down. What would you want to do a duet? Remember that duet you found of Michael McDonald and Born G?
That was unbelievable. That's in my playlist still.
I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Yeah, I would do that as a duet.
I think I'd want you and JP to do Shallow. I think that's what I'd want.
Tell me something, girl. Yeah, we can do Shallow. Islands in the stream. I'm down. I'll take the girl part if I have to. I apologize. Lakar has been waiting on hold. I'm sorry. Lakar, I'm sorry for you had to sit through all that. How are you?
I'm fine. No problem. But I got a question about the Lakers Dallas trade. If both players are injured, how are they going to pass their physical for this trade to go through?
So I think it just needs to be an agreement of medical records. But yes, if one does have more seen than what was believed, they can return the trade. It's not going to happen at this point.
So do you think the Celtics are making a move? Well, they can't make any moves really because they don't have that kind of money.
No,
After you took care of Brown and Tatum, that's it.
No, they can remove players and free up salary. So like they could trade Jared Springer. What's his name? Why do I always do that to him? They could. Sorry, buddy. They could trade Springer, and although it's $4 million on the cap, it's $40 million. You could move on from some of those bench like Xavier Tillman. You can get off that money. Hey, listen, the Lakers need a big, right? No, Scavs, let's play the game. Isn't the Lakers a good spot for Tillman? Like, he started against them in a playoff once. You're just shaking your head.
Yeah, Tillman's not playable right now.
No, but as a big, though.
I think you're looking at a guy like Robert Williams if you're the Lakers. You're looking at an athletic big that, may have injury history because that's how you get someone on the cheap. Tillman, I don't think, is worth anything right now.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to get rid of him.
I don't think the Celtics are doing anything before the deadline. Maybe they a Mike Muscala type move, something like that. A big guy, 8th, 9th guy off the bench, but not a lot of flexibility for the Celtics right now, unless they somehow move off that Springer contract.
I've received the farts by email. I'm going to forward it to you, Skaz. Or should I send it to Trent and let him dissect it? A lot of people are saying sweet dreams, sweet farts. Love that. Fart like no one is listening. Gabe's in West Roxbury. Gabe!
Yo, go. What's going on?
Just listening to farts.
I got a Drake May Pro Bowl cake and a Super Bowl cake.
Okay.
Wait, Super Bowl, I'm just going to say, you going to be on Friday or Thursday?
We got a full show on Friday.
Oh, I'm going to call in. No joke. I'm giving like 8 props, just, all for fun. But I'm going to I'm just going to say this right now. I think Kansas City is going to have a tough time holding the run. But like Kendra said on Saturday, you don't want to get caught with your pants down against Mahomes.
Oh, nobody.
I understand that.
Nobody wants to get caught with their pants down.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last thing about May in the Pro Bowl. Did you see him at all? It was not pretty. The throwing contest. I mean, who cares about that? I mean, he got benched for Russell Wilson. I mean, all this doesn't matter. It's a goddamn Pro Bowl. Who cares? But it was just kind of funny. I thought he threw 2 pick sixes, and then Russell Wilson came back out.
Oh, so you're saying Drake May threw multiple interceptions in the Pro Bowl?
Multiple pick sixes.
Oh.
Not even just interceptions.
Well, thank you.
So
That's concerning. I take nothing out of it because you know who scored a touchdown in the Pro Bowl once? Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I really only know Daddy Yankee because of the song, not because of his name.
Gasolina.
And then somebody told me the word I am looking for is reggaeton. Yes. I'm a Bad Bunny fan.
He's going to be Happy Gilmore's caddy, Joe.
In. I'm in on that. I hope we're not hyped down on that one. Like, that's going to be a hyped up movie. Would you go to the theater for that?
I hope it's in theaters. Like, I hope it's not like a straight to Netflix or something.
He's straight to it.
I feel like it might be.
He's a Netflix guy.
That feels like it deserves, I mean, who goes to the theaters anymore? But that feels like it should be a movie theater type of movie.
Do you think Miles Turner will be traded?
Feels like we do this every year. Every year, the Miles Turner is going to be traded.
I'm just thinking Lakers.
What do the Pacers want, though? What do the Lakers have?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think Turner's a better fit with Indiana right now.
Do you know what's funny is I just in my head I go, big men that could be traded in the first guy.
It's always Miles Turner.
It just went right to the brain. It's like the Red Sox are interested in everybody, but like they don't sign them. Oh, so Trent did some research. The last right-handed hitter that they've given an extension to was Rob Ruffschneider. But Rob Ruffschneider, I believe, signed like a 1-year deal, then got another deal, but with an option. So technically, he got more than 1 year, but they've never signed a long-term right-handed bat since Trevor Story. Out. Don't like that. I don't like that. The other thing is, right now, right? All these teams are active in the NBA. Golden State wants somebody. I feel like it's all. If Durant goes back to Golden State, do you think that they have a shot in the Western Conference? Because I do.
Yeah, any team with Steph has a shot, especially if you're giving him Durant as a running mate.
What do they give up? How do you match? Was it Wiggins? I'm just thinking. Like, where's Butler going?
Seems like Phoenix. That seems like where he's going to go.
I have. This can be interesting. NBA trade deadline's always hot, huh? It's always a good time of year. It's way better than the NFL, I'll tell you that much. All right, well, today is February 3rd. A lot of great things in Boston sports happened on this date. We'll take a break, and we'll let you hear some of those great things. We'll rehash all of those as we're in the final hour of the show. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
Ken Walter will hold. Lonnie Paxton will snap from the far hash mark, angle to the left for Adam Vinatieri. 48-yard field goal attempt. Set to go. Snap, ball down. Kick up. Kick is on the way, and it is good! It's good! It's good! Adam Vinatieri booms a 48-yard field goal, and the game is over, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions! The Patriots are Super Bowl champions! The best team in the National Football League! Adam Vinatieri, 48 yards! Oh, baby! Oh, what a finish! What a finish, Ducaro! Oh, my God!
And I remember having the magnet with Drew Bledsoe with a hard hat, a Patriots hard hat, and like Lawyer Malloy with a lunchbox. and Willie McGinnis. Like I had this, we're rebuilding, and it was this. We're gonna build this brand new stadium, and we're rebuilding. I had the magnet from 2001. I remember. And Pat's got the bye. They got the Raiders in the first round of the snow game. We know the story. They went to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh already planned their Super Bowl rally. Tom Brady got hurt. Drew Bledsoe came in, threw the touchdown. The defense hung on to win the game. They go to the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick announces Tom Brady's the quarterback. There was a little bit of Brady or Bledsoe in the Super Bowl. There were those people that still had that Drew Bledsoe should start. I give Belichick a lot of credit for that. Things he doesn't get credit for, that one. Hearing that again, though, really makes me happy for Gil Santos and Gino Cappelletti. Like, those guys were there for all those years, the terrible years. Just hearing that call, that one, that was great. 23 years ago. I just want to let everyone know, that was the first one.
Oh, baby!
Gil. 23 years ago. And now look at the Patriots. Well, also a lot of other things happened on this date. So we go from happy to very sad. Skaz, let's hear it.
39 seconds left. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Joe, you take a look at this route here by Plexico Burris. A great job. Ellis Hobbs in coverage. He starts to the inside just enough to sell the slant, and then he goes to the corner. They call that the slant and go route, sluggo route, and it worked beautifully. Eli Manning puts a little pump fake on him to get him to bite, and then goes to the corner.
Told you we rolled the victory blunt that night. They lost. In case you didn't know. I hearing that pause after the Plaxico Burris touchdown, did you hear it? Like, it reminds me of the Chiefs. And I know that this is Chiefs week. This is Chiefs Super Bowl week. But do you think the whole world was like, oh my God? Hearing that crowd?
That pause stuck with me too, and it was more so just the announcer letting it breathe. Like them act like that. I feel like we don't get that as much as we used to. Like just letting the moment speak for itself. Like as a Patriots fan, that's my least favorite highlight of all time. But hearing it for what it is, it's a great call. It's simple, and then he just lets the crowd tell you everything. These people hated the Patriots.
That's what makes me think about this week.
You're going to get a rowdy. Kansas City's close, Joe. I mean, that's not a far ride, and those people are used to going to the Super Bowl. So, corporate crowd, anyways. So I don't really think the crowd comes into play for the Super Bowl.
Well, let's talk about historical situations that have happened recently, right? The Cubs winning the World Series, they almost blew it. Remember, had to go into extra innings. Eventually, they won it. Kentucky tried to go undefeated. They didn't. What other historical things? The Red Sox coming back, obviously.
LeBron down 3-1.
LeBron down.
That's as big as it gets in the NBA.
Yep.
Ray Allen in the corner. There's a couple big ones.
Kawhi Leonard's shot was big. That was a big one. Over Embiid. Toronto going to a championship. That was pretty big. Man. Patriots. 28-3. But I remember, the memes of Lady Gaga, right? Up in the air when the...
Lady who?
Lady Gaga. Gaga. I said it like that on purpose. Lady Gaga. Shallow. Well, there was something else good happen on this date, Skaz. We went from ecstatic to really, really low to the last championship ever.
Ever, Joe? That's what you're billing it?
Well, the last Patriots championship. That's what this was.
Hold on.
No, we'll set it up. This date, February 3rd, has a lot of significance in New England Patriots history. A lot of significance. And the first championship, the undefeated championship, and quite frankly, the last. Patriots won.
5 seconds frozen on the clock. The Patriots with a 13-3 lead over the Rams. Tom Brady, about to be a 6-time champion, takes the snap, drops to the knee. And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title. In the early 2000s, they won 3 of 4. Now they have won 3 of the last 5. Yes, it's still a dynasty.
What a call. What a call.
Miss hearing those.
I now work every Patriots game, and it's been brutal. I've been working the Patriots game since Cam Newton started. So ever since Tom Brady has left. I haven't been to a Patriots game since Brady's last game. I might keep it that way. Anyways, big date. Hope you all got the feels on that one. We'll wrap things up here. We'll tell you what the rest of the week holds. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
If you need tires, think Town Fair Tire. Thinking name brands? We have them all. Thinking price? We beat the competitors. Free services?
Been doing Valentine's Day right for over 80 years. You will not be in the doghouse if you gift your special someone.
smelly.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. See everybody in chat right now. JP's in there. You and Leroy worked harder for 3 hours after. You and Leroy worked harder for the last 3 hours after the game than they did during. Again, so back-to-back Bruins.
Bruins at the Rangers on Wednesday.
Then Thursday night, Celtics, Mavericks. No word yet on Anthony Davis.
Correct.
Out tomorrow, though.
Waiting to hear on the physical.
And then full show Friday. Fourth and Friday, our final fourth and Friday of the year.
Little big game preview, as they would say.
Big game preview. Joe me the money. We'll get some guests on, some betting people and all that fun stuff. So we'll do that. To all our card friends, I'll be on tomorrow with Card Vault. Check them out. It's on Whatnot. You got to go on the app and download it. Or I'll just stream it on Twitter or X. As Kendra likes to call it, its porn name for some reason. Twitter. That's like the porn name. Didn't know that. What else we got going on this week?
Joe, one thing we didn't get to tonight. Todd Downing. No, I'm out. Out on Todd Downing. Not a good coach.
So, I'll agree. I thought the Jets got better at the end of the year. I do. I'm not going to let a DUI get in the way of a guy I really like. I hope the wide receivers are better, and he gets all the credit. But yeah, in reality, this is Vrabel's boy, and that's why he's here.
100%.
They could have gotten Wes Welker.
Joe, you know how bad the Todd Downing hire is? They could have hired Josh McDaniels' brother, and I would have felt better about the hire, because at least Josh McDaniels' brother was doing this job with the Houston Texans.
We'll see how that goes. Well, they let go of Troy Brown. Is this an upgrade?
Matthew Slater also, I believe, let go.
I can't believe that. And you know who shouted out? We mentioned earlier with Doug Kyed, but Drake May said that Matthew Slater was fantastic to work with. So, so we'll be back tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. A lot of stuff happened at Media Day today. I haven't gotten to it, so maybe tomorrow we'll be able to dissect through more of that stuff. But the NBA trade deadline, again, it's great. I think the Celtics make a move. I don't know what it will be, though. I don't know what. But Jaden Springer, to me, I still think could be a valuable asset for this team this year. He's not a great, he's not going to change things. But if you need a little defense late in the game, he's not a bad guy to have on the bench. So we'll leave it at that. Thanks to everybody who joined us on YouTube tonight. Trent, excellent job as well. We're working in our interns. We're going to get you on the video on the next show. Stay tuned. Remember, check it out. YouTube. We got all our stuff up there. You can listen at 985thesportshub.com. It's Super Bowl.